Ladies and gentlemen, a heat wave has taken the nation by storm. It's figuratively and literally hotter than hell right now. Outside and maybe everywhere, and especially the backyard and the underground wrestling world. And the man that might be the most controversial figure in backyard and underground wrestling history has got a lot to say. And does he have a long list of things that he might want to, I guess you might want to say, cast judgment on people? We'll have to find out. And certainly, he's always got a lot to say when it comes to anything and everything. And I won't bring up what happened last week at Saturday Night Riot. He'll certainly have kind of addressed that already. I don't know if we'll be talking a lot about Summer Bash tonight. I'm sure that we'll be bashing some people throughout the summer because summer officially kicks off Friday. But after all, we're in Steel Nation. We're in a Steel era. And it's pretty much kicking off here, I guess, right now, figuratively and literally right now. And our man has certainly done it all. You name a promotion, he's certainly left a trail. And I guess you might want to say he's left such a trail that usually when he leaves, he certainly breaks the door. And actually, he does so much that they actually want to bring him back. And I guess we'll have to find out, though, what the world will think about this one because, in his own words, he has said that this one people will remember for a lifetime. He's called his own shot and said that this will be the show that'll break the viewership records in Sportswire radio history on YouTube. He's also talked about what he's going to say, this, or that. But the time, I guess, for talking is about to maybe ahead right now, and especially since we are in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage where figuratively and literally all wrestling matters. The man, I guess you might as well could say, should be the host of this platform. After all, he certainly brings more heat and packs more heat than maybe anybody else out there. I was thinking, should I give him the intro tonight? Because this might be a different show. But you know what? We're giving him the intro because after all, he does draw viewers. He does draw ratings. And maybe after tonight, will we call him, in addition to being the most controversial figure in backyard and underground wrestling history, maybe the greatest backyard and underground wrestling draw in Sportswire radio history? Only time will tell. Although Luke Leyland, I'm sure, will continue to keep his record, but certainly even Luke Leyland might want to sleep with one eye open because Anthony Steele is going to have a lot to say, but Luke Leyland doesn't have to worry. Anthony Steele won't be saying much about Luke Leyland because Luke Leyland, after all, is kind of our patron saint of Sportswire Radio. And Anthony Steele, though, is going to have a lot to say, and I think I'm waiting for it. You're waiting for it. The world is waiting for it. And maybe some are waiting with a bated breath, and maybe I'm waiting with a bated breath, and hopefully I can keep up with my breath tonight. But it's time to give him that introduction that he's gotten so many times on this platform, and it's time for him to get it, maybe for the introduction that you might remember till the end of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right to it here in prime time. Sportswire Radio, the only platform that gives you these types of Anthony Steele era like commentary. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report. Number one global sports show from Resurrection Pro Wrestling, the most controversial figure in backyard and underground wrestling history. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in giving a round of applause to none other than the real
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
Dude, I'm doing great. I'm ready for the night. I've been hyped for tonight. I've been hyped. I've been ready. The only pressure is going to be on the people that I have exposed per se.
Oh, okay. Obviously, hopefully you're not exposing any undergarments or anything like that because we are live, you know. What are you drinking there, by the way? Obviously, to warm things up for the audience. What do you got?
Black cherry kiwi venom, one of the best energy drinks out there.
So. Endorsed by Anthony Steele. Will we soon see that maybe like on a TeePublic?
I love a sponsorship, guys. I would fucking rep your shit all day.
Well, all day, every day, to quote Conan. And people are already fired up. I mean, I got comments from all over the place, and we'll certainly let everybody join the conversation shortly. But I guess I should start out, and I'm obviously not going to talk about things that are current events because you kind of addressed some of that on Monday's show. Because obviously,
I would actually like to start off with that.
Oh, well, you're more than welcome to. So I was obviously going to maybe overlook what happened at Saturday Night Riot or Summer Bash because you kind of talked about it on Monday's show, but it's Anthony Steele. I don't want to get in your way because I don't want to be in the firing squad like everybody else. I want to make sure that I'm not my name's not in your mouth because I obviously want to make sure that, you know, we certainly make sure you can keep coming back to Sportswire. I'll let you address whatever you like to say when it comes to Saturday Night Riot, the West Memphis Kid, Ronnie Brady, or even Summer Bash with the real Chris Craven, Coach Craven.
Well, let's start off with what happened, what transpired at Saturday Night Riot. Saturday Night Riot, Ronnie Brady proved my point right. I told you you ain't going to beat me unless you do some underhand tactics, which is what you did. You went low. You brought weapons in. You did whatever you had to do. You, like you said, you had the director of operations, you had the board of directors, you had general manager Steven in your back pocket.
I still don't know how he has a job as general manager. I mean, I've been talking about this for months. I don't want to go there, but you know, I'm gonna still say it.
You did what you had to do to beat Anthony Steele, which thank you for proving me right, Ronnie. Thank you for making my statement a fact, Ronnie. Because like I said, I speak facts in here, and you proved the fact right, Ronnie. You can't beat me one-on-one clean. And now it's my time. Now it's my time to get my opportunity to get my hands on you yet again. The Rumble's coming up quick. The Rumble is coming up really
next
quick.
Weekend, right? Isn't it next weekend, if I'm not mistaken?
In 2 weeks. 2 weeks time. Not this weekend, but next weekend.
Yes, next weekend. That's what I'm saying. Next weekend.
Yeah. About a week and a half.
Good enough. I mean, so you must be excited. You must be counting the days.
Oh. Yeah, because then at that point, I'm going to beat Ronnie Brady by any means necessary. I'm going to get my hands on him and beat him. And then I'm going to go on later in that night and win the Raging Rumble. And when I win the Raging Rumble, that solidifies my ticket to Retribution for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Anthony Steele, a world champion? I mean, the backyard and the underground wrestling circuit would be, I don't know what they might blow up. I mean, if people talk about the internet breaking, I mean, I think the circuit would break if you're a world champion. Unfortunately, management and Resurrection Wrestling and the board of directors have granted me this opportunity. They have implored me to share some of the things that happened there in Anthony Steele. And, you know, certainly I'm sure you'll wish that you could forget some of this, unfortunately. But Stephen Silvestri, by the way, I'm not quite sure Stephen Silvestri in terms of how he overlooked interference after interference throughout almost the entire show. I would have to think that his approval ratings have to be even lower than right now President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. I mean, I would have to say in the Resurrection locker room, his approval rating's pretty low, right?
See, right there, Steven dead set sees this. But, Steven, you got to quit being scared of the board of directors. You're the general manager for a reason. You're here to enforce rules. So you shouldn't enforce that. That should have been a disqualification.
I think Joseph Tibbs has got to be a very unhappy man. I know he's returning to the ring one more time, but, I mean, we've got a spineless leader right now. I mean, this is supposed to be a commander-in-chief, and he's more like, I mean, a head with a chicken without a head, more or less.
See, I don't know what. I think my adrenaline kicked in at this point because I was not going to let Ronnie screw me that way.
That humidity down south is certainly getting to you.
Like, and watch this.
Oh, I'm watching it. I've watched it already twice.
Ronnie Brady's so small, wants to hit me with a super kick, can't do it, kicks me in my chest.
That's not true.
Kicks me in my chest.
Ronnie is
You're a small guy, dude. You're a small guy.
I will not badmouth Ronnie Brady, the West Memphis Kid. He has been a friend to this platform.
And then a kick in the gut right here. Ronnie, how did this taste? Boom! Size 13J straight to the mouth. Size 13J straight to you, and you won't go down. I applaud you on that. Then you kick me in the gut again, but this time you're going down. You're going down. And that's what I plan on doing at the Rumble. When I get Steven to 100% say that I get a match with you at Rumble, I'm going to make sure you go down.
And well, I mean, it's going to be the hardest thing to go down. Actually, now you're about to go down.
Like you, Ronnie. The only thing I can say is you're a bitch. You're the biggest bitch Resurrection has to offer.
But he's, obviously upset about you being here because you've been in this company before, and a lot of people are shocked that you're back in this company. I mean, that is not a work. That's real. I mean, you've had a long history with Resurrection Wrestling, and maybe Ronnie, the West Memphis Kid, he obviously sees that, and it's bothering him that you're back, and he obviously thinks that Resurrection's not big enough for the two of you.
Listen, he can be bothered. He can be heated. He can do anything and everything he thinks in his power to get me rid of.
He's
what he's not going to do is get Anthony out of Resurrection. That's what he's not going to do. For the simple fact that I'm back home. This is my home, Ronnie. And I'm here to take my home back over.
You look better.
And look right here.
Fire company seen you in.
Boom. Ronnie, you know that was wrong. Steven knows it's wrong, but he got scared.
Steven Silvestri tonight. Is he like hiding under the desk there in Resurrection? Is that what it is? Is he hiding under the desk because he knows you're going to drop some bombs and you're going to certainly say things that Resurrection is probably not going to be happy about? Are you concerned you might lose your job in Resurrection tonight?
Yeah, I ain't going to lose shit. As Ronnie says, he had the board of directors on speed dial. I made really good friends with the board of directors after this match to ensure
what you may say tonight, though, that you may obviously, have put some of that in jeopardy. Now, you're confident tonight.
I'm 100% confident.
That's good.
I'm confident in the fact that Ronnie Brady's going to get his what's what.
And I'm happy you're not going to lose your job because we don't want to see you lose jobs. And we see here, for whatever reason, the match restarted and Ronnie Brady, the West Memphis Kid, actually now got the 1-2-3. Although I'm not quite sure the first time what happened there. But
all I'm going to say is this: my dick hurt.
I'm going to certainly plead the fifth on those things. I'm going to let the public decide on what they may think about that. But Ronnie Brady's a happy man right now.
Now, get this man off my screen. Okay. I'm tired of seeing his fucking dumbass face.
I just thought we promote our friends at Resurrection Wrestling, although unfortunately, at your discretion, but that's okay.
Ronnie, like I said, your days are going to be numbered now. Now that you proved me right, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that I get you in a place where you can't escape me. Whether that's at the Rumble, whether that's at Deadly Collision, whether that's at Retribution. Because we all know you're going to try to find another way to weasel your way into a world title match. So,
can I even throw it out there? You're obviously going to drop bombs. Can I drop a bomb on you tonight? Actually, see what maybe is there a possibility even, because we know there's this relationship, right, with TVW and Resurrection Wrestling, right? That they've obviously been cross-promoting shows, right? So you're obviously going to see some of the individuals in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling. Oh, I think next week, right? Next weekend?
Time will tell.
Right? Obviously, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be the TVW Resurrection show, and I'm sure we'll see more promotion of TVW and Resurrection. I mean, is there even a possibility? I don't even know if I should say this, but I guess we're live, Anthony, and I'm sure this is going to certainly break the Backyard and Underground Wrestling's internet circuit for sure, figuratively and literally, if the heat doesn't break it. But could we maybe even see, I don't know, Anthony Steele and the West Memphis Kid, Ronnie Brady, in a ring over there in the company that you certainly called home once upon a time in Tennessee Backyard Wrestling?
Time will tell. That's all I got to say on that one.
What do you think it'll be like, though, when you share a locker room with some of those former I guess, friends of yours or former employees in TBW. What do you think that'll be like? Have you processed that? I mean, I know the IMF at Summer Bash, you're going to see them, and Omen and Soldier are going to have their opinions. And we know Omen and Soldier are definitely, I am sure, going to be very curious about you in their locker room again in Ohio. But now you're going to be joining, some, I guess, maybe friends, former friends. I don't know what you call them in TBW, but you're going to see them obviously next weekend. I'm curious, Anthony. Just you feeling good about that? You feel like that's going to be a lot of fun?
100%. That means I get to even some odds with some more.
You're a part of a lot of important history in TBW.
Industry.
You did help the company grow. You did help.
I made the industry crumble. That's the best part. Is I did what I set out to do. I made the industry crumble from the inside out. That's what I talked about when I first showed up on the scene. Was the industry was going to destroy themselves from the inside. And what better way than to weasel my own way into that faction and make it deteriorate. That's all I gotta say on that fact.
Okay, but obviously we'll have to stay tuned. You and just at the very least, TBW is coming to Resurrection next weekend, I would imagine, in the Rumble. And, you're going to get to see some of these guys who never thought they would see you again. And, I mean, I wonder what that's going to be like. Do you think it'll be worse than tonight or better than tonight?
If I see TBW?
Well, for them, not for you. I mean, you're probably pretty healthy.
At that point, if they see me in that ring, whether it is Atomic Titan, whether it is Joe Anderson or Jay Wild or Russell Cooper or Gage Flair, Manny Cobra,
if he's alive.
Dude, if Shane Davidson or Alan Michaels shows up in that Rumble and we go face to face, there's going to be a brawl.
Alan Michaels works in TBW. I mean, that would be interesting. I mean, Alan has some of the tendencies, and I just think it'll be a lot of fun. I hope that we get that opportunity. So I just thought it'd be curious to ask you that. But obviously, we'll see what happens. We'll have more Resurrection coverage, I believe, very soon, and you're going to see a lot more Resurrection people. And I'll get to comments shortly. We'll be joined in progress also in a few minutes on the Promo Wrestling Federation YouTube page and the Pride Wrestling Federation YouTube page. So what else would you like to address here before people really start to, as the numbers really are jumping right now? They're jumping right now.
Let's get to some comments. Let's get to some comments. Okay. That way we can get some of them out of the way.
How you doing, Zilla? Zilla's always here. Zilla, I don't know if it's a bot or not, but Zilla does say hello. Joseph Tibbs, who's returning to the ring. Maybe you'll see Joseph Tibbs in the Rumble next Saturday. And by the way, I got to break it. I want to break the internet here because I have a doubleheader Friday night of hardcore deathmatch wrestling. At 9 o'clock, we have Brian White, who just wrestled Jimmy Controversy over there in IWA Deep South Southern Outlaws. He's going to be here. And then at 11 o'clock, only some guy named Judge Joe Dredd is live. If you like hardcore and deathmatch wrestling, we're pretty much here wall to wall Friday night. That's going to be 2 shows. I mean, you're going to certainly have one for the ages, but Brian White and Judge Joe Dredd back to back. Oh, baby. Forget about Atomic Titan being the hardcore king or anybody else. This is going to be, I am sure, 2 shows you're going to remember for a lifetime. I want to say hello to Lizzie from our friends over in the Promo Wrestling Federation, the company that I own. Lizzie, how you doing? Nice to see you tonight.
What's good, Liz?
How you doing, Lizzie? And Joseph Tibbs says, hello, Mr. Tibbs. How you feeling, Anthony? I know, Ronnie, you're feeling great, my man. I showed you that big victory you had. I'm sure Ronnie's very happy, and he's on a big winning streak. He's got a win over Rage recently, got a win over you, and we won't bring up the Dustin Alexander loss.
He couldn't beat Dustin, so, I mean, that's not a winning streak.
That's why I didn't want to bring that up, to make sure he was happy. But speaking of people that I'm sure that will have a lot to say, our friends in Iowa, who will be here tomorrow, by the way. They're going to be here in your chair at 10 o'clock Eastern time because we have Summer Heat to promote, and we've got a lot to talk about there. Soldier and Justin Parsley, Jason Storm and Omen Black, a lot to cover there, and poor choice of judgment. I'm not quite sure what that may mean, but hope you're doing good after I beat your ass at the Riot, and I think we pretty much talked a little bit about that. Want to say a little bit. I want to say hello to DG Colt. DG Colt is always fired up, always loves you being
here. My boy.
We got to get DG Colt on this platform one day.
That'd be fucking awesome.
The real deal, Anthony Steele. Miranda Turner says hello.
What's up, Mir?
Oh, how you doing, Miranda? Thank you for tuning in for the first time. My good friend Sean Jovi, the resident rock star, is in the house, and I have to wear his shirt to represent him because I figured I couldn't find any other else shirt because I was waiting for your shirt, but today is just Juneteenth, so unfortunately I'll probably get your shirt tomorrow. So either tomorrow or Friday I'll be wearing your shirt. Ronnie, great job on beating this guy from a man that's also defeated you, and it is his show after all. Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest, the DKW world champion, the IMF hardcore champion, a man that you have shared a locker room with before in the past a few times. He does say hello. Speaking of hardcore legends, my good friend and hopefully your good friend, the legendary Doc Holliday, who was everywhere. TF Crew, Riot in the Ring. He was successful there. Last
good,
week,
Doc?
round 2, and I'm still waiting for when Doc's going to come here on this platform. I'm supposed to get Doc sometime, but I hope to still get him because after tonight, I'm sure Doc's going to still enjoy it. But the good news is Doc's not in the crosshairs, right? Good news is Doc isn't.
Nah, he's good. He's safe.
Absolutely good. I'm very happy there because Doc is a good friend. I give my endorsement to Doc. He is a damn living legend. If Steele's Titan, Steele, I got your bail, homie.
Let's go. Let's go. Thank you.
That.
Thank you.
Want to say hello to the
I need bail money for Ronnie Brady, though.
Silverwolf is in the house. Want to say hello to the dark.
Let's talk about that.
Go for it. Warm up the crowd. Huh?
All right. So let's get this party started. Hey, Silverwolf. Yes. It's your turn, buddy.
What do you mean?
All righty. So let's talk about Big Bad Silverwolf. Yes. Which one do you want me to start with, Silverwolf? Do you want to talk about your trainer? Do you want to talk about the text message I got? Which one do you think? I'll start off with the trainer. I'll start small to get big. So, your trainer, who I exposed for being a fake. Your trainer that's supposed to be 13 years in this business, but literally said he worked from 2001 to 2009. Homie, that's not it's not 13 years. As a good friend of mine would say, your math ain't mathin'. And then you try to go on and say that the dude that trained you, a great GCW wrestler by the name of Maddox Murdoch, trained you. But he really didn't get his start till 2003. So how could someone that got his start 2 years after you supposedly got trained by him train you? And then how can you, who's never been trained, who has admitted has never been trained, train someone like Silverwolf? It's not possible. It's 100% not fucking possible. So for you to go out here and promote that your trainer is a 13-year vet, that he's going to train you, get you into ring shape, get you into make sure that you know the ins and the outs of professional wrestling is false. And I'm here to call your cap, homie. And then we can move on to the fact of the screenshot.
Oh, the screenshot. Would you care to elaborate on what you mean by a screenshot?
We'll go into that. So the screenshot that I have is while I'm in the process of finding this, let's also
we're now officially live on the Promo Wrestling Federation page and the Pride Wrestling Federation page. And to answer while you look that up for Doc Holliday, yes, I own a Promo Wrestling Federation. And Doc, if you want to get in touch with me afterwards on Instagram, I could certainly send you some details and I can have you join the group. But
so
go ahead.
Let's talk about one thing.
Go for it.
Before I go on, Silverwolf, you want to talk about how you begged and pleaded and offered to pay me not to put you on blast on Sportswire? How you begged and pleaded for me to let you pay me to not blast your trainer live on Sportswire? That's not how this rolls, man. You fall in the line like everyone fucking else before you. You fucked up. And I'm going to expose you. So let's go into even more exposure.
Okay. What do you got?
So there's a person. I'm not going to name the name of the person. But there's a good friend of a buddy of mine who sent Silverwolf some links to help him train himself, basically, on the art of professional wrestling.
How is that possible, if you don't mind me asking?
There's wrestling seminars on YouTube that people can watch and, basically learn them for themselves, just the basics. Just like how to take a proper bump, how to do a collar and elbow tie up, how to do a real wrist lock, a front face lock, everything. And And then you go on not on your Silverwolf account, but on your main account, your personal account, and say, "Can I see a picture of you?" Just asking. I'm 36, single. Aren't you married? Aren't you married to your glorious wife that sits at home? And you want to go and ask someone what they look like, send a picture, and then claim that you're single? Hey, look, I've never been on this platform and said that I'm single a day in my life for the simple fact that
you have actually always talked about your fiance.
My fiance, my
I think
glamorous.
we've seen her make cameos on this show.
Yeah,
before.
like my fiance.
I don't think she wants to be here on them many times.
She's sitting in that room. She's sitting in the next room over.
That
is the love of my life. That is the person that I adore.
Is she eating popcorn and having her soda popping with?
She might as well. She might as well get that shit ready because Sparks about to be flying a little bit more. So let's talk about it, Silverwolf. Let's talk about how you want to say you're single, but you're married. What kind of man does that? What kind of man will sit here and, first proclaim that he's training and he's not? Gym ain't training. You're training on getting muscle tone that obviously is not working for you. And then you go on to proclaim to be single when you're married. See, that's what makes wrestling look bad. That's what makes us wrestlers look bad. Because if you ever heard of the phrase, one bad seed fucks the entire fucking set up. The whole stock.
The domino.
And you're one of those bad seeds, Silverwolf. I tried to help you. And one of my favorite lines is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
I've been using that line on Sportswire. Yes, I have.
I led you to water, bro, and you did not want to drink. You wanted to
we all have tried to help Silverwolf. That I will say. I don't know enough about the personal stuff to make a comment on, but that stuff, the wrestling stuff, we've all tried to help him.
So, for one, I'm disgusted that you would do that to your wife. And I hope your wife is listening. She can block me. She can do whatever she wants because other people have tried to expose you for the simple fact that that's wrong. But it's live on Sportswire now. This ain't going away. This can't be deleted. This is for the world to see. And then I hope your trainer actually goes and gets trained. Just like you need to actually go get trained.
Well, the trainer you said was 13 years, but only wrestled for 8, right? That what you said?
Supposedly. Right? No, but see, let's go a little bit more into depth than that. He told me his name that I can look him up on Google. He told me the place that he worked at. I can go look him up on Google.
Cage Match or anything in terms of internet wrestling database where you have any type of
there's nothing on this dude or this company. The only company that has the same name as the company he was talking about is in Kansas, and he said he did everything in Wisconsin.
So you're telling me, is this another Joe Bidelau?
And guys, for the wrestlers out there, I'm gonna ask y'all the famous question, and let me just tell y'all the famous question I asked this man, and I'm gonna tell you his response. Because a actual wrestler who's been trained will tell me how to do this. What moves are used to do the international? The most famous.
I actually know some of the international, and I am not a wrestler. I actually think I could answer the majority of this, but I don't know if the likes of, Mr. Silverwolf, if this is the case, if this is accurate, would be able to answer that. But I still would say that they're having a show coming up, and I don't know why it's still going on. That's up to them, obviously, but it seems like it all goes on deaf ear. Listen, Van Hansen was here last Monday. He was saying, like, look, be the change, go out and prove people wrong, go out and show them you can do it. And, and I don't think anything's going to change. I mean, these guys are yelling and they're just screaming into, a fan, and nothing's going to work. And the talents that these guys are working with, they're not, talents that I would say you're going to see in Summer Bash or in other places that you're going to be excited to watch. I mean, I think that's unfortunate that somebody could get hurt here. I mean, I saw another guy that was yelling about Sportswire. He was in the Hall of Fame, and we're not going to mention his name. There's no reason.
Fletch.
What? Yes, but there's somebody else that was complaining that they're in the Hall of Fame. They want to be taken out. I don't want to give him any publicity, but we've tried to help people. I don't think that, I know what people are going to say, but I don't know enough about the personal things on Silver Wolf, but I can comment on the wrestling part. And, WCE got rid of him. I mean, if WCE got rid of him, and they've had bad
How bad
judgment,
you got to be?
They've had judgment. Speaking of which, they've had bad judgment. These guys that left WC from day one, Zack Attack, that whole issue there, Joe Biddleout defrauded them, and they were involved in something else, and I don't know the details enough on it. Something where Jimmy Controversy got mad, and they were blaming. I don't know what they were blaming about. One guy there was getting upset, and all we did to try to help the one guy. So I don't know enough about it. But what I do know from the personal side, that's up to them. I can't speak on anybody's behalf on that, good or bad. But on the wrestling part, these guys shouldn't be in a ring. I mean, it's unfortunate, and they can't come on here, honestly, because we got a lot of people that really want to be here, and to give them further time, it's just at this point, it's like it's just wasting. It's really wasting people's time. But it's really intellectually dishonest to the public, because there's a lot of people that are really trying to make it in the backyard and the underground, and these guys, unfortunately, aren't doing it. They're just not, I don't know what to say at this point.
Do you want to hear his answer, Tom? When I asked him that magical question.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I made a mistake. I'm going to fix it.
The trainer's answer is, I shouldn't have to prove myself to anybody. Homie, if I'm getting called out, I just want to answer. If I'm getting called out, if you were to ask me something, Tom, and to call me out, to prove if I've actually done this, I'm going to give you the answer.
Well, that was my point. I would say, if you're a trained wrestler, if you've got a career, wouldn't you come on like the International? I mean, I could even kind of tell you in a way what the International is. You're supposed to tie up. You're supposed to then kind of push back. You look at each other kind of with that ring psychology. Then you go back a little bit. Maybe you punch each other for a bit. Maybe you toss somebody into the turnbuckle, and you come back again and do some type of headlock in between then. I mean, that's basically, and again, I'm not a wrestler. This is just me kind of thinking about logic. I watch a lot of wrestling, Anthony. I mean, there's no way that I can't say that I haven't watched enough wrestling to at least tell you in my head what a wrestling match would be like. And that's what I would think it would start as.
Well, let's also, now that little Silver Wolf has been exposed, let's go into someone else. Let's talk about, and I know you hate this name on Sportswire Radio, but I got to bring up one thing that I just found out, and let it be that at that.
Who?
Loose Cannon.
Well, he doesn't exist anymore.
Who gets a hold of a good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm.
And
recently, in the past few days, was what happened
around the day of when he was supposed to show up. And he asked my friend, "Hey, can you really help me? Can you and Steele help me? Really train, do all this. I'll come down. I'll work with y'all. And can you really back me up on Sportswire? Because I don't want to go on there by myself. Why? Because you knew you were going to get shit on? Because you knew that we were going to call you out for your bullshit?
Yeah, the thing what bothered me most about him was that he was saying, "Oh, I said this about this," or whatever what it was, a triple W, and I really, and I showed I showed Silver Wolf the conversation that I had, and there was nothing of that. Listen, I wish Silver Wolf well. I really wish he would not be in a ring at the moment, but I mean, if he wants to do what he wants, that's up to him. I don't really have any personal issues with him. I wish that he's wasted people's time. I think that's one thing. But Joe Biddleout is a different case, because Joe Biddleout faked cancer. And that, to me, he faked cancer. He scammed these guys out of $1,000. He said he had all these contacts. Then he was bad-mouthing everybody. Then we heard the stories about him freeloading off people like Omen Black in their home, and and these other guys in Triple W. So Joe Biddleout is a bad actor. He's the definition of a bad actor, and a guy that shouldn't be anywhere near anything. I don't even know if he should be employed by the Boston Red Sox the way he comes with. I don't know. I don't want to go that far down the rabbit hole, but the point is Joe Biddleout should be as far away from anywhere in the wrestling ring. That, Silver Wolf wants to be a fan. He wants to continue to do his podcast. By all means, I got nothing against that. But his wrestling ability is what it is. But Joe Bidelau does not have any. He has a lot of audacity if he would come back anywhere near a wrestling ring, because the guy honestly should really focus on other things. And that's already been said. But go ahead.
Let's get off of them now, because they're at this point they're not worth the time, everything like that. And I do want to give a shout out to someone in the comments real quick before I move on to the next situation. Yes. My boy BK Loading, aka Stephen Dunn. How you doing, man? Him
last week, Stephen Dunn.
I love you, man. I can't wait for the next time we're in the ring.
One of my shows with somebody else too, and I'm trying to remember where he came up in.
The dude from AWL.
Yes, correct. Yes, CT Matlock.
But much love, man. Can't wait to get back in the ring with you and put on another banger.
Sportswire one of these days. I feel like Doc Holliday needs to be here. I feel like Stephen Dunn would be good to have on. I mean, let's get some real talents on here. Let's get some people that have actually been out there and said some things. And I want to say hello to one of my friends, and I'm going to always be proud to call him a friend. That is the legendary ROVW owner, the greatest backyard underground wrestling owner in this circuit, James Taylor. And James, I hope he's doing well out there. And I always just want to say hello to my dear friend, James Taylor. And I just want to say hello to Mr. James Taylor. Hope he's doing well. And
let me comment on that.
Yes, sir.
For everyone that saw last Thursday.
Hello to Mr. Thomas Taft, by the way. My very good buddy, Thomas. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's good to be back again, because it's going to keep happening until the day I die.
You don't die anytime.
Okay. So James and me, as y'all saw, got into it on Sportswire. For real. We took shots. Shit happened. Yeah. I'm glad to say we talked. I let him know what's up. And we good. We Gucci now.
Good. You guys have been peas in a pod for all this time, over 16 months on this platform, and to see you guys not being peas in a pod, it's a little weird. Two people I consider friends, obviously, and to see two friends trying to figure out, the situation, and it's cold as ice between them. This is. I'm glad to see that, the two of you have continued that friendship, and, who knows what'll happen in the future, I would suppose.
And then the final person that I really want to talk about before we get on.
I want to get one announcement from Atomic Titan. I got to get it in for my Hardcore King. I have to bow down to my Hardcore King, and also make sure that it's going to be this Saturday, Rampage, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, which is great because that's right before I go live on Sportswire Radio. Number 1 contenders match for the Intercontinental Championship, which is held by the Nature Boy, the Woo Man himself, Gage Flair. It's going to be at Rebellion. The winner of it will be Jay Klosh and Robbie Andrews. So the winner of that match will face off with Gage Flair at Rebellion. So this Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, it's going to be 8 o'clock Central Time, right? 8 o'clock Central Time. So 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. It's going to be Jay Kloss and Robbie Andrews. And so the winner of that match will face the Nature Boy, Gage Flair, for the Intercontinental title at Rebellion next month. I just want to put that out there. So you're ready to go.
The final person I want to talk on is none other than C2K. Mr. C2K.
Yes.
So you still come around here claiming you're trained, claiming you've done all this. You went here, and here. Again, have no proof to show for it. And, I'll try to cut you some slack and get off your ass for a little bit. But when then you comment, you better not bring up my name. We've hashed it out. Homie, you don't tell me what to do. It's like I'm a free man that can say and do what the fuck he wants. And you're in the line of Silver Wolf. You are in the line of Zack Attack, of Loose Cannon, guys that want to claim they're wrestlers, but can't fucking prove it, can't show it, and damn sure when we see a match does not look like a professional wrestler, does not look like a wrestler at all. It looks like something my 2-year-old niece does when she jumps off my brother's bed. All right. So
that might be that might break TikTok, if they actually.
Hey, look, at this point, One of these times, I'm gonna bring my niece on to have an interview on Sportswire Radio.
It'll get views. I'll tell you that much. It'll get views.
That'd be more entertaining.
I've had some ones that have been pretty boring, so that one won't be boring.
But so don't tell me what to do because you will get shot on. But Tom, I think it's time.
Oh yeah, you think it's time?
I think it's time. I think it's the moment we've all been waiting for.
Really? Are you prepared? Are you ready? Are you? Before I bring them on, I want to say, are you ready?
Let me get ready.
Are you ready?
Let me get ready real quick. Hold on. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let me I wouldn't say proudly present to you a guy that thinks he can keep up on the mic with your boy, the real deal, Anthony fucking Steele. A guy that thinks that he knows what he's doing when he steps onto my show, on my platform. We've seen what he's done on the past 3 interviews before. Let's see if he can change that tonight. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Mr. Judgment.
So I can bring him on now?
Let's bring him on.
We just did. There you go. Live in the flesh and wound.
How you doing, dude?
In the flesh.
I just wanted to start off by saying the only prophet I know is the TBW World Champion, Jay Wild. That's the best prophet that I know.
Well, we will change that.
I actually hope. I really do.
Actually, I could say nothing and I could change that.
I don't know about all that, Chief.
I do. I think my work speaks for itself, but...
Your work speaks for itself. Okay.
Indeed.
So...
Reverend, I appreciate you having me on. Appreciate it. There's been a lot of talk, not just about myself, but about DBW without any lead DBW representation.
Well, I would actually cut you off on one point on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
The DBW roster as a whole wasn't mentioned. It was really, I'll be straight up on it. It was Ego and yourself. I wouldn't say the rest of the roster. I think that's a little bit of an unfair statement there, but everything else, you're welcome on the floor.
Yeah, they're I consider them definitely part of the roster.
Oh, there's no question about that. But you have a large roster. I don't think
we do.
But I'm gonna speak on that just because when you're referring to about a week and a half ago, I'm pretty sure that it was basically brought up Ego and yourself. So if we're gonna continue the conversation,
gotcha.
That's what I would go with.
Gotcha.
So
what do we want to talk about first?
Let's talk about you for a second.
Let's go.
So let me ask a magical question.
Go for it.
What makes you think you could stand on the mic with me?
Well, I think that I think that first of all, my work in the ring is second to none. And I'll put that up against anybody. Especially for someone of my size, as the Rev has referenced many times.
I agree on that. Yeah, absolutely. Ring ability, and I've said that.
How tall are you?
6'3".
6'3". How much you weigh?
About 250.
All right, 6'4", 277. Keep going.
Okay. It's accolades speak for themselves. I'm not going to talk about accolades. But it's this business, whether it's backyard, underground, indie, it doesn't matter what it is. I think the art of the character is a dying breed. I think we could mostly agree with that. And everybody's just portraying a beefed up version of themselves instead of really being creative and artistic in the abilities that they can really portray in the ring, outside the ring, on the mic, whatever the case is. And it's a shame because there is that's when the entertainment level, in my opinion, really starts to speak up. I just wish we saw more of that in the business.
You're talking about someone creating a character, producing it, going through with it, right? Instead of like playing who they are outside and then
we see enough of that everywhere. You know, give me an origin story. Be creative. Be original. Do something.
Be original. So
not every dark gimmick is referred to as the Undertaker. Like my character is nothing like the Undertaker at all.
100%. We can all agree on that. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about characters that are based off people living everyday lives, which is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So the best part about it is my backstory is going to be different than a lot of people because my backstory represents my life, my hardships that I went through, everything that I've endured physically and mentally that has got me to this place right here. And you know, anyone, a magical person that you most definitely know by the name of Scott Steiner said this himself. Anyone can create a character and play that character, whether it's good or bad. Anyone can make up anything. I can literally say that I'm a 6'4" leprechaun and put some fucking, you know, gold coins in my pocket and walk out and look like Hornswoggle and just throw shit out to the ring. Right. Anyone can portray a character, but not everyone can be themselves, and someone can try to recreate someone else. Because no one can recreate Anthony Steele. No one can be Anthony Steele. Just like I can't be Brian Phillips. I can't be you.
You're right.
Like you can be the Prophet, Mr. Judgment. You can cast your judgments on anybody. But when you step into the realm of what I call the real deal, that's where make-believe and fantasy sit in their own little chair with what actually happens. Because a guy like me don't need to play make-believe. A guy like me wants to show the world what real wrestling's like, what it's like to be in the life, in the mind of a professional wrestler. And that's my story. That's my history. That's my legacy that I shall leave behind way after I'm gone. So for you to say that we need more character work, we need more people developing characters is not themselves, that's at that point, that's just anyone can do it. Like I said, my 2-year-old niece can do it.
Anyone can do it, but very few can do it well. And I think that's the difference.
I mean,
that is the
yes and no. Because then that's where the terminology comes in, where we have jobbers. We have people that literally are laughable, that are comedic, that people just enjoy to see for the simple fact that they get a good laugh, a good chuckle, and be like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens next. Then you got the people that create characters who are your mid-carders, the people that the character's over but not over enough to get the crowd being like that. They deserve a world championship. They deserve to be at the pinnacle of this company. And then you have the people who have characters that people can believe in, people can feel inside themselves. And that's the thing. See, it's not about creating a character, because a character can be created from someone's actual story. And it's more about what the fans can feel. Because the way I go about it,
100% agree.
So the way I go about it is I'd rather have the fans feel what I'm truly feeling inside than have someone feel something that I just made up. Because if I can make it up, they can make up different versions of that. But they can't make up a different version of Anthony Steele. They can't make a different version of the real deal. Because when I come to you, I come to you with facts. And that's what I'm bringing to you tonight is facts. Is you're playing make-believe. I'm playing real life.
I'm playing make-believe, but I can hold that crowd in the palm of my hands and do with what I will. Like they're completely consumed in my character. The bitter hatred that they have in the character of Mr. Judgment or Asher Christ or whatever it is, that's what it's all about, making the audience a part of the match itself.
But see,
that's the ability that I have no matter where I go, up and down the East Coast or wherever I go, I will automatically be your top heel in whatever
top heel. Top
guaranteed. Guaranteed.
All right, so let me name off some people. Ronnie Brady can get the crowd to hate him 10 times fucking over. Omen Black can get people to fucking dislike this man from the moment they meet him. Soldier GP could get this man, get any person to hate him as soon as he steps into that ring. The one thing I learned in wrestling, it's harder to get people to like you than it is to get people to hate you. Because I can look at you and get you to hate me in 30 seconds.
I agree.
But can I get you to like me in 30 seconds? That's a hard task.
It certainly is.
So while you, as you say, hold the crowd in the palm of your hands to get them to hate you and make sure that you are, as you say, the number one heel that steps into that ring, that's far-fetched.
Not at all.
That's
not at all.
So you're saying
you witness the character live, you witness me speak, then you witness the match itself, the originality of my character, the originality of my moveset, and the pure skill I have in that ring. It speaks for itself.
So you're saying if me and you show up to the same show, walk through the same curtain, you can get those people to hate you more than I can get.
100%. 100%.
Okay. Explain.
What is there to explain?
Explain.
Explain
how you can get someone more pissed off at you.
So here's the thing. So whenever we think about wrestling and character development, playing off the crowd, it's the hero versus the villain, typically, right? That's typically what it is in most cases, at least what they try to portray. The ability of the villain to speak on pure hatred, and the ability of the hero to get them to just support them 100% by the work of the villain. That's what's missing in a lot of cases. Yeah, you can go into a match and talk shit to the crowd, but can you go into a match and be hated without saying a word? That's when you have the true ability to hold them in the palm of your hands and manipulate them to a T. And
so
that's what
words,
it's all about.
Words, right? So you're going to use your words to basically get this crowd to hate you more than Anthony Steele, right?
I don't need to.
Okay, so see, I'm more articulate than that.
Mm-hmm.
See, what I'll do is I'll take a friend of mine, like say, I'll bring my own family into this. I'll take my sister, who's confined in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. I'd plant her in that crowd, and as you walk out, you talk your shit. You get the fans be like, "Oh, boo, fuck this guy." See, what I do is I'd walk out that curtain, and I'd take that plant person, I'd rip them out that wheelchair, and I'd take that wheelchair and throw it across the fucking room and make them crawl to there to grasp the reality that I could do what the fuck I want when I step the fuck out in that arena. That right there, words do hurt. But physical actions hurt worse than what any word can do to any man.
I
See,
agree.
They're going to look at you and be like, he said it, but that dude just did it. That dude just took it an extra mile. See, because that's the thing in wrestling is all these people are content with doing the same old shtick, the same old thing, day in and day out. While I'm here trying to reinvent that I will go the extra mile to top you. Because that's in this business.
That's what everybody should do. You should try to top each other. You should try, and you should want to be the best. That should be everybody's goal, to try to be the best at what they can do. Whether it's being the top heel, being top face, what having the top faction, the best company, whatever the case is. You should always try to be the best that you can be. But again, I say that I don't need to speak words to be the top heel. And this is the second time I'm saying this. I can be the top heel without saying a word. Just by giving a look, just by giving a stare, just by the way I come out through the curtain, just the presence, the ambiance of the character that I portray. That's what it's all about.
So we got Tom Bryce here. I want to see this look, this stare. I want to see if you can get Tom Bryce to hate you. Just by a look, just by a way of showing with your emotions, your facial reactions. I want to see if you can get Tom Bryce to sit here and hate you.
Come to a show when I'm in character, and I'll get you to hate me. I'll get you.
That's the difference.
Everybody in DBW to hate me because the thing is, my character is all about wrestling. It's all about When I come through that curtain, bam, it's a flip of the switch. That's what it's about.
Right there. That's my point that I'm here to prove tonight. You're a character. I'm not.
I'll admit that to a T. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
When you step in the ring with me, you're not facing Anthony Steele, the character. You're facing Anthony Steele, the guy that you'll see on the streets when you walk into a Walmart, a Kroger, a gas station.
And we've seen that, and I'm going to say it, we've seen that in TBW. We've seen that in Resurrection. We've seen that in XCW. What you get from Anthony Steele is what you get anywhere you go, whether it's here on this platform or in the ring. There's one Anthony Steele. There isn't, like, for example, we had Austin G on, right? Austin G is Austin G. He's not really, he's basically portraying something and he's trying to be something. I think obviously Anthony, in a way, James Taylor is another example. When you see James Taylor in TBW, when we've seen him in TBW, Anthony's about to laugh at me now when I say this, but James is pretty much James Taylor. That's what
Stone Cold. Yes, Stone Cold.
That's pretty much what he is.
But see, this is where the difference resides. I play a character. I play a secondary character, by the name of Diablo, a dark apprentice, makes it to where it's an eerie feeling. And when I go in there, I have supernatural powers that basically I can withstand a lot of damage and it not really do a damn thing to me. Why do you think Anthony Steele is more over than Diablo? Because people nowadays, they love gimmicks, but they love to feel the passion, the intensity, the aggression. They love to feel what they're watching and make it feel like they're right there in that ring with them. And that's what I bring to the table.
That's exactly what I bring to the table.
And then let's go into another topic. Let's go into the topic of running a company.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your eyes, in order to maintain talent, to maintain, people coming back, how do you run a company?
I think I run a company very successful. What we do here, and I've been in this business for over 20 years, and I have wrestled for a lot of companies, backyard, independent, underground, all across the board. The one thing that I can tell you that DBW has that is very, very, very hard to find, not saying it doesn't exist, but my roster is more of a family. We are brothers. We get together. We are friends outside that ring, inside the ring. But that to me is what it's all about. If you have wrestlers on your roster that want to come to wrestle for you every day or every show, they're going to do a better job because they want to be there. Now, is it my job to make everybody happy as a promoter? No. Have I made everybody happy as a promoter? No. Have I made bad decisions? Yes, I have. Have I learned from those decisions? Oh, hell yes, I have. I've been doing this a long time. And for someone, if any promoter says they haven't made a mistake, they'd be lying to you. I think any promoter would say that. Any business owner would say that. You got to make mistakes to learn from them, to do better and continue to grow. And
are you saying though that the other promotions that come on, I'm curious for the audience, and if you want to clarify. Sure. Obviously, you have a big roster, no question about it. A lot of the guys have come on here, and I think very highly of the roster. But we have a lot of big rosters that come on here. The IMF is in venues. They actually have a paid audience. They're gonna have about 200 people at their show. Resurrection, where Anthony works, they have guys that are from all over the place. Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, they have a big roster. Are you saying that those rosters, whether it's, let's say, Resurrection, where Anthony works at, the IMF, where Soldier, GP, and Omen Black work out of, or let's say Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, are you saying that those rosters don't love each other as much? Or what?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And again, I'll reiterate that I'm saying it's hard to find. I'm saying it. I didn't say it didn't exist, and that's the second.
I think that those rosters, especially the IMF, because they have about almost as big a roster as you guys. In fact, they take in rosters from, a couple of other places, DKW, WC, even XCW. They have guys in XCW, which again I think is similar in roster size to. And I think that they and the IMF would probably say the same thing. And in fact, a lot of their guys, I see the pictures, I see the vlog that Sean Jovi puts up, and their guys are, I think almost identical, maybe more family-like in some, because I see all those guys. In fact, as a matter of fact, Soldier GP went all the way to Wisconsin to visit some of those guys like Sean Jovi, Nicholas Crenson, and Dark. So I think that any company that's successful that's on this type of, for example, another company, NEW Underground the Riot in the Ring, which Doc Holliday was a part of, and there's 15 companies that took part in it. And I would dare say that that's the most family-like atmosphere I've seen. And no disrespect to any company, including yours, but I think that's the most family-like I've seen, because they had 15 companies. These guys wrestled for 10 hours. There were guys from Tennessee. There were guys from Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, all over the place. And I think that to me, that is the definition of a family. But I agree with you in general. But I think that almost every platform that's here, they absolutely are entitled to say the same things. Though.
And I'm not saying that they don't, and I'm not saying that they don't at all, because I don't know those companies well enough to speak on them. I don't know IMF and Resurrection. I don't know those companies well enough to speak any ill will towards them, and nor am I.
No, I'm not saying that, but I can attest to it, because they're here every show. They're here every stream. I speak.
And the other thing too is I know all about collaboration and working with other companies, because my roster is full of wrestlers who worked with other companies, whether it be NUW, whether it be UWF, whether it be BCW, whether it be KWA, whether it be there's a couple feds in Baltimore, whether it be VTW, my own company, DBW. They all worked for those companies, or still work for those companies, and also work for mine. So we're a collaborative effort here in DBW.
No one's saying. I got to say it for a second. No one's saying that DBW has not been collaborative. There's no question that DBW is worked with companies, but there's a lot of talk about.
We're open to continue work with companies. I love.
And you're entitled. Listen, and I'll say it as somebody who owns this Sportzwire Radio, who owns a few other things. I completely would say you can do whatever you want. You're entitled as a United States citizen. You pay for what you obviously have presented. You could do whatever you want. You don't owe anybody anything. You can do whatever you want. There's a God-given right. It's your company. But what I will say, though, is that there's no question you've collaborated with those companies, but there's a lot of companies here that they haven't seen DBW here. As a matter of fact, obviously, I'm sure you're aware of Summer Bash, and there's obviously, a lot of companies, and I'll list them here. Obviously, it's a long list of companies from all over the United States, IMF, DKW, WC, ROEW. We have TBW, Resurrection Wrestling. We have XCW even. We have CBW. We have, a long list of companies that I think are going to be on, and we don't want to spoil it. We have I think about 11 companies, if I can be corrected on that, I'm sure in the audience, but there's 11 companies. DBW is very much in the same lane as a lot of these companies. And from a geographic standpoint, DBW is not very far from Ohio.
Sure.
And I think there is a lot of kind of, I think dissension in the fact that DBW wasn't here. And also, I want to...
Can I speak on that for a second? Because I think you're right, and I think it's misplaced. Because the only thing that's been said to me personally about the Summer Bash show was months ago. And I haven't.
There's an eyewitness account though that said they had brought it up to you, and you had said that you would not be part of Summer
months
Bash.
ago.
But that's still on the record, though. If somebody said to me something, if somebody said to me something, right, and they said no, I don't. Because I'll give you an example, right? I'm going to take.
Also, the reason why I said no too is because I don't know what DBW's schedule is. And I always put DBW
those guys know who you are, and they ask. Somebody was there to ask. I'll give you an example. See, I work in the world of politics. I've worked for politicians. I know how the game works. I know how it works when people say things. When somebody tells you no, usually it means no. Nobody, 3 months later, or no, 4 months later, whatever it is, right? Well, somebody said something on a radio show, and now, we have to say, well, maybe I could have, no. It was interpreted that no is no, and I think there's kind of, again, an angst that DBW didn't want to work with Summer Bash because DBW, and again, I'm not saying the roster, I'm saying you're the owner. So you're the chief executive of the company. You're the CEO. You're the guy that runs. So the talent, it's not the talent's call. It's your call. It's like, listen, it's me with Sportzwire, right? I pay the bills for the internet radio. I pay the bills for all these. So I understand where you're coming from, and I totally respect that.
It's my call for me.
I got the mic. I'm going to obviously take the mic on you for a second. So I'm going to say it very kindly, is that if somebody tells me no, I'm going to interpret that as that, well, they didn't want to play ball. And, you've been here, and that it works. There's a lot of these companies here. And one thing, what I also want to add is that, I think a lot of people would love to work with DBW. I think a lot of people look at it like there's a lot of talent in DBW that I think people would love to see those matches, but it's interpreted. Sure, the collaboration is great. I love the fact that you're collaborating with a lot of companies. I think that's great. I would never tell anybody not to work with anybody. First of all, I'm not a promoter and I'm not a wrestler, so I don't get in the business. I think just from that standpoint, if you're comfortable in what you want to do, God bless you. God bless America. Anybody wants to do what they want. I think that's totally fine. But I think there's people here in different places that they look at it and say, well, these guys don't want to play ball. I want to play ball. You know, they want to look at it and say that they would like to see some of the best talent. And I think that it's real. In one sense, it's denying the wrestlers in the companies, but it's also denying the fans because, you know, you talk about collaboration. I agree with you. Collaboration is great. As a man that, again, I've worked in the world of politics, I know as a man that worked in the, I worked in the government. So I knew what it was like. I helped people when in terms of fixing issues and legislation. So I got a sense of what collaboration could be like to be successful for people in the world. And I think that to have DBW and kind of in a way not collaborating with a lot of these companies here, there's kind of this, you know, angst because people looked at it and said, well, you know, TBW's here. You know, TBW is involved in Summer Bash. You know, you got DKW, you got WC, you got IMF, you got Resurrection Wrestling, you have ROEW, you have XCW, which is a very similar company too. There's a lot of roster size, things like that. You know, there's a number of other companies and independent wrestlers that are here, and other people I'm sure that they're going to save, you know, for, you know, different things. CBW is here, even CBW in Indiana. You know, OMW is here. There's a lot of great companies, and DBW's here, but DBW seems like it's comfortable. And again, you can do whatever you want. You're comfortable with VTW, EBW, NEW, EBW Pro. You know, God bless you on that. Listen, you know, I can't tell you I can't lead the horse to water if the horse doesn't want to drink. I would love to see Mr. Judgment. They would have loved to have seen Ego. And now it's, I mean, sure, you're going to say, yeah, I would love to have done it. But at this point, it's a moot point because it's not going to happen. So ultimately, people look at it and say, coulda, woulda, shoulda. If you said no then, it's kind of no now.
But here's the thing. Just because I say no, I have no control over my roster. I would never restrict my roster from going to any show.
I didn't say that you restricted the roster. I think that obviously, so if I worked somewhere, like I'll give an example. If I worked somewhere and my employer was like, well, I'm not working there. And as somebody that works for that company, I'm going to probably think about, well, I like to keep my job. I'd like to keep my position. I would probably, in the interest of my own position or where I'm going to be, probably not go that lane because I would have to make a judgment call. I would have to make, you know, basically I got the mic. I will make a hypothetical analysis and say, you know what? I don't think that's the best movement. Now, again, I'm not disrespecting you on that. I will say, though, I think that it's a disappointment that DBW, talent like yourself, and I'll even say the other companies that you work for, I think that Summer Bash is reinventing the wheel. I think that Summer Bash is trying to, I also think, and again, I know you can't speak for other companies, and that's totally fair. I totally agree with you on that. You need to focus on, you know, what you do is best for you. But I look at it like TBW, right? TBW right now is working with Summer Bash. I look at it and I see, you know, other companies that I can't really name that are going to be there. I look at XCW. You know, XCW has had a lot said about this on this platform, but they're here. Their talent is here. And I think that speaks in a way, I'm going to say it actually gives credit to them that their guys are here. You know, I think there's a lot of great people, and I think DBW should fit in that. And I think from a geographic standpoint, DBW should be here. I don't think, to me, that DBW really has, you know, a reason other than you said no. And I think that people look at it and say, well, if they said no, and, you know, Ego, for example, you know, and I think also there's a frustration.
But again, it wasn't
I got the mic. I got the mic. I got the mic. I'm going to speak because I want to speak on it, and you're going to listen to me because I have done a lot for the company, and I'd like to speak on it respectfully. So I'd like to speak. So both of you now, I've let you sit for 25 minutes and speak. I have to now take control because it's my platform and I represent the church of all wrestling matters. So here's what it comes down to, right? Your company, it's disappointing that your company is here. Your company honestly should be here because I think that your company has been here a lot. I also think that guys from other feds have seen the fact that DBW is here and they feel like, well, we can't interact with them. We can't mingle with them because either guys can't really talk as well on the microphone or guys feel like that we can't have that line of connection. So sure, you have collaboration, but the collaboration almost, to use a term in politics, it's controlled opposition. It's like, sure, I'm working with somebody, but basically I'm cutting a deal because basically I'm working with them. But am I really working with all these companies here? There is a dozen companies, give or take, that are a part of Summer Bash, and they feel like that they're shortchanged. And I think the public, and I also think it hurts DBW for a couple of reasons why you guys are not at Summer Bash. Because first of all, it's opening up new subscribers. You guys, to your credit, have 3,700 plus subscribers. That's quite an accomplishment. You guys have almost 1 million views. Congratulations. That's a lot of hard work. I know you put a lot of hard work into it. I respect everything you've done in this business. I think you have gone out there and put your blood, sweat, and tears in it. So when Hillbilly Tilly always says for the love of this sport and true people do it for their blood, sweat, and tears, no question you've done that. Your son is a phenomenal talent. You've helped mold your son. You've helped guys like Chase Wakefield, Brandon Costelli. People can say whatever they want right now in DBW. I'm going to say it basically, not in the way Anthony's saying. I'm going to say it as just a guy that's a wrestling fan that wants to bring people together. And I look at it and say, DBW should be here, and they should every time want to work with different companies. I mean, it's great what you do with BTW. No question. NUW, great. UWF. I love what you do there. But to me, it's wrestling the same people, and it's almost the same. It's like the wheel is continuing to cycle, but it's not really reinventing the wheel. There's an opportunity here from people from all. In fact, as a matter of fact, there's a guy, D'Angelo LaFlame. D'Angelo LaFlame is kind of like the Jack Delta, right? I'm sure you've heard the name, and he's going all over the place. And as a matter of fact, what he's doing is he's actually, in a way, kind of what this All Wrestling Matters Summer Bash thing is that he's going to AWL. He's going to TBW. In fact, some of these companies, they don't work together. But he's brought them in a room, NEW, Underground Wrestling. He has brought them there. And he's given people an opportunity. You know what? We can work together. Yes, people, when good people come together like Joseph Tibbs, like Ronnie Brady, like Hillbilly Tilly, Sky Felton, like people like Joshua Allen, people who were here, Jake Matthews, Justin Abel Saint, who have really, gone into the spirit. And I think that there are people here that love DBW, and they listen to me as their voice. Just like in DBW, you're the voice, you're the final boss, you've been the champion. I love what you do in the ring. This is not me talking as, to talk you down. This is not me. I bring you on. I love having you here. DBW talent is always welcome in this pod. This is not to tear you down. This is nothing at all about that. But I think that people look at it and say, there's companies and they're not in the center of this. And again, you can do whatever you want. You're completely entitled to all of that. I have no jurisdiction on that, but I think I can safely speak for these wrestlers that come on and would say, you know what? Where is it? And I know your roster is here. And you know what? And I give you credit. You certainly told your roster to come here to obviously give you support. That's a credit to you. Listen, no question. I would have did the same thing from a political standpoint. I would have said, I'm on this platform with a guy, Anthony Steele, and, I would have not known what the certainly information is going to be. I got to make sure my guys are backing up. Listen, I totally get that. I've been in the world of politics. Pull out the vote. Get your people to go rah, rah, rah. I got all that. But I don't work for anybody. I'm not Anthony Steele. I'm not even Omen Black. I'm not Soldier GP. The only people that I represent are the people that watch these shows, and I think that DBW would gain more subs. I think every company would gain more subs if everybody would collaborate. So you know what? I'm going to actually, I'm going to give, to quote what I did last week, I'm going to give an olive branch right here because I think that it would be very easy to tear people down right now. I don't think that's going to achieve it. So I'm going to give an olive branch. I would like to see whatever comes from this, right? I want to see you wrestle Omen Black. I want to see you wrestle Anthony Steele. I want to see you wrestle Soldier GP. God bless you for wrestling Roland Havoc. God bless you for wrestling Aaron Jones. God bless you for wrestling your son. I enjoy the matches. I love it. I'll support it. I love your product. We worked together on a segment. I enjoyed the segment. I think Roland Havoc should have been a little bit more prompt on his time if we're going to really shoot in a second on that, because I'm going to shoot on it because to me it's a moot point. I would love to see you guys wrestle these people. I think the fans, what are we doing, right? We're not making millions of dollars. This is not WWE versus AEW. This is not MLW. This is not Impact. Everybody, if you can go out there and find a way to cut out the politics, to figure out what can be best done for every company and can be done in a way to grow YouTube subs, to grow engagements, to grow social media, it's best for everybody. So to me, I'm not here to do what anybody else says. I only speak for the community. And I think whatever comes out of tonight, I have no idea. This is just me speaking on my own volition. I don't owe anybody nothing. I've sat back. I've listened to you guys go back and forth. And I want to also say one more thing. I never knocked the DBW roster. I specifically said it. I praise the DBW. As a matter of fact, I spend so much time covering the DBW product that I think that a lot of people sometimes are like, well, give other people a chance. But I believe in you guys because I know the hard work you've put in. I know what you put into this. I know that you've given 21 years of your life. I know that you've raised your son in this. I know that you've raised these guys like Castelli and Wakefield, and you've given these guys chances. And I give you a lot of credit for that. And I know it's not easy. I have an internet radio station. I paid out of my own pocket to give podcasters a chance to dream, a chance to believe. No question about that. But what I'm here for is to see. I'm here to see true open collaboration. This is what the movement is to me. And I said it then. And again, no disrespect on you. I want to see true open collaboration, almost like open borders. I know crazy things to talk about in the world of politics, but open borders. But you know what? I'd love to see. I know you guys are working with VTW, have this big thing coming up. Fantastic work. Total Domination 9. I encourage the public to check out your product. I encourage all of that. But I really want to see. You know what? How about Mr. Judgment versus Jay Wild? How about Mr. Judgment one day against Ledger Shade? How about Omen Black? Whatever it might be. So I don't know what'll come out of this. I'm not interested in people throwing people off the stream here. I'm not about that. What I'm about right now, if you're truly serious about saying, yeah, I'll work with people, go for it. But if you're not, I appreciate what you do. You guys will always have a spot on my platform, but I think people will look at it and say, it's kind of hollow almost. I mean, because even AWL, they work with Sportswire. They've worked with people. I can name at least 12 companies that come on my platform in some way have worked together or have made a difference. I'm not even going to say it. I know you guys want to talk. I know it's hard for two big talkers, two alpha egos, but you haven't met anybody like me. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm going to put that out there. I am proud of the fact I am from Brooklyn, New York. You have no idea what I have went through. In fact, you have no idea what I went through today just to be here. So I'm going to say this proudly. There is nobody like me in this world. I have knocked on 15,000 doors one year to put my blood, sweat, and tears out there. So I am going to say this proudly, and people can look up. I would hope they would look up on this. I truly believe that there are people like Sean Dovey, the resident rock star, would have never been a household name and been re-brought back into the wrestling world because of Sportswire Radio. D'Angelo the Flame was basically created because of Sportswire Radio. Jack Delta has basically had the best run I think he's about to have on because of this platform, a company called ROEW, which was basically run by a kid who was in the backyard wrestling next, and all of a sudden decided, you know what? I was going to give up, but he came here to Sportswire Radio. He came here. There are countless people. Craven Rage. I'm going to say it. He's been created because of Sportswire Radio. Omen Black and Soldier TV. As a matter of fact, Darkron, a guy who's fighting cancer. A guy who's fighting cancer, who's probably got so much he goes through in his life. But because of this platform, he's believed in himself so much. And I can tell you the message. As a matter of fact, I hear more from people off the air about what this platform means to them than I hear from my own family. So for me, I'm here right now. I'm not here to tear you down. I'm not even here to go off the script. I'm here to say, if you really want to work with people, forget about the past. 8 months ago, you said no, it's over. The facts, history, nobody can change history. But if you're here tonight to say, you know what? I would love to wrestle the IMF somewhere. I would love to wrestle Anthony Steele. I would love to wrestle, I'll dare even say it, James Taylor. I want to wrestle the likes of Jake Matthews, Power Surge, D Savage, Justin Abel Sane, the good guy, CJ Black, Jack Delton. If there's a way to cut the middleman out, and if there's a way that, you know what, it's in the best interest for the community, That's what I'm about, because I want to see DBW in this. You have a lot of great people that come on. Big Tex. This guy comes on here. He's on every show, talks to me about what the platform means to him. Jackson Snow messages me all the time. He says, wow, you had Austin G here. I have guys here, that I think that are friends of mine personally. So I'm not interested in here to be in a pissing contest with you. It could be very easy right now for me to yell at you or Anthony or anybody else. I'm not interested in it. I'm interested in, if you really want to extended hand to work with all these different people, let's do it. Let's go for it. If not, I appreciate that you took your time to be here, and I respect the fact that you took in the opportunity to go out and say some of the things you would want. But there's a lot of people here that I can honestly say that they, in their lives, have been a difference made for them because of what we're building here. And I think, to me, it would be in the interest of DBW and all the talent, Roland Havoc, right? Austin James, Colin Grave. You've got the prodigies who work for my friend, Jimmy Controversy, my very good friend, Jimmy Controversy. Jimmy Controversy raves about the Brooklyn Prodigies all the time. He says, Tom, these guys are going to blow up, right? You have them. You have the Stompers. They've won, 4 tag team championships now? Maybe they'll add 5 in the DBW tables, right? Chaos Conspiracy. You got all these great teams. You got Brandon Costelli. You got who's another guy goes all over the place. Maybe one day he'll go overseas. You know what? And God bless him. I hope he would. Chase Wakefield, is he still a Bitcoin billionaire? Maybe Bitcoin's going down for him. Maybe he's less than that. But no, Scorpion the Assassin. Scorpion speaks to me all the time off the air. Great guy. But I'm interested. I'd like to see these people. You know what? There's guys here every time are on my stream, and they're hungry. They're hungry. I remember when my father was a kid, he'd always talk about being hungry to eat. And sometimes we didn't get that chance every night. And I remember when I started to make money, I remembered that feeling. The feeling of the kid that I had, that I didn't have and I have now. So that I'm fortunate now that I have this platform that I have many people come for. They're here every night on this stream. I want to see DBW guys. I want to see DBW wrestle some of the best. It's great what you do. But to me, it's almost the same thing. I could watch reruns of Seinfeld. I could watch reruns of Friends. No question. I love Rachel. Who doesn't love Rachel? Jerry Seinfeld's a great comedian. But what I want to see is true collaboration. Open borders. I know that's a crazy thing to think about in this country right now. But the facts are is that, listen, you guys can have the microphone, but that's what I would like to see. If you're serious about it, there's a lot of guys that I'm sure they'll take your hand. If you're not and you said no, then you have nothing to explain. It's your business. It's your right. You can do anything you want. And that's my 2 cents. And I want to also put it out there. I never knocked your roster entirely. What I knocked was the fact that Ego didn't want to be on a stream with the IMF guys. What I knocked was that you were on a stream and it was like a little weird with Omen and Soldier. And that's my eye, not Omen's eyes. Soldier don't tell me. Chris Craven don't tell me. Nobody tells me that. Listen, I think that there's nobody that knows how to judge character like me. Because I've seen, you want to talk about characters? I've seen more characters in a day than people have seen in a lifetime. You want to try me? Go out every single day and walk in the streets of New York City. I was just outside the projects, the Marlboro projects in Brooklyn. You want to talk about characters? That's characters. You want to talk about characters? I've seen more things in New York City than people will see, whether they're recreating the Prophet Jay Wild, Mr. Judgment, Anthony Steele, whatever it is. So that's my 2 cents. And I hope that you take away from whatever it is that you really want to be here. I know your talent enjoys being here. Who wouldn't want to enjoy being here? They get promoted and get put over the moon. I mean, certainly, where else you're going to find it? And I know you've done podcasts before. I know what the results have been. People come here, they're getting a true interview. And I want to see that collaboration be fostered. That's all. And again, I consider you a friend. I've worked with you. I'll continue to work with you. But I believe that whatever comes out of this, you're entitled to say whatever you. I know I've gone on 17 minutes, but trust me, I can go on an hour. Trust me, I know what I can do. But the facts are is that I would love to see you seriously reach out to Omen Black right now, or reach out to Soldier Jeep, or they reach out to you and say, you know what? Let's figure out next year. Let's figure out a different medium, because I think that would be good. You know what? And again, your product is great. I will not knock your. I have not knocked your product, and I want to go on the record with that. Anybody who says that I knocked DBW, I will say XCW. I have had some issues with that because I'm an open book. I will tell you what I tell people. We speak. I tell you the same things on the air and off the air. There's no manipulation. There's no politics. I don't do any of that. I tell you what I'm going to tell you on and off the air. So you do what you want. It's your time. It's your life. And that's all I got to say.
Anthony, you got anything?
Do I? Oh, do I got a lot? I've just been waiting. I've got a lot. So one of the biggest things that I've been hearing is I got a magical question for you. Let's start off with this. Who's your world champion?
Me.
You. The owner. Okay. So I've worked at a lot of places.
Do you think I'm the world champion because I'm the owner?
I mean, you got a big roster, right?
I'm very big.
Hold on. Let's play statistics here. You got a huge roster. So how long have you been champion?
Year and a half.
Year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying in a year and a half you haven't found someone better than you? You haven't found someone other than yourself to put your company.
So we in DBW like to follow a thing called storylines, and some of these storylines are long-term storylines, which we are developing. And anytime that I am champion, it's to help make the next world champion the top guy beyond a shadow of a doubt. That's the only reason I'm champion.
Okay, so for a year and a half, you have not found a person to be the top guy, right? Because look, I'm gonna say this. This is the number one thing people are going to look at you and say is you have a roster full of talent that bust their ass for your company.
100%.
That pay $10 a month to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the biggest pieces of shit thing I've ever heard in my life is having a roster member pay $10 a month to work. And then you go on this Roman Reigns Gunther fucking run in your own company instead of putting over your own talent. There's a thing that I'm going to speak on for the simple fact that I went through it. One of the biggest issues between me and TBW, one of the biggest issues, which got me to lead myself out the door, is your company as an owner. You have a roster to produce your product, to promote your product, to have your product look as great as it can be. But yet, people that own a company that want to put a title on themselves, that doesn't showcase your talent. Another thing that doesn't showcase...
I highly disagree with you.
Explain.
Okay, so we have many titles in DBW. So it's not just about the world title. We have the global championship. We have the Hub City championship. We have a tag team division, a very diverse tag team division, which is hard to find. We have the Anarchy championship, which is a custom title that we have where every match is contested in a triple threat fatal four-way or more. It's a very, very interesting concept of a title. So there are many, many, many ways to put over our talent, even besides putting a title on them, because sometimes the storylines are bigger than the titles, which has happened in a lot of cases, which is currently happening right now, let alone with some of the directions that we're going with DBW. It's going to be extremely exciting here coming up very, very, very soon. Like, we're doing something that's going to be very, very special, and I'm super excited for it. We're just not at the public timeline yet, but we put over all of our talent.
So
that's why they love coming here.
One of the biggest questions. Mm-hmm. Why should talent pay to come wrestle?
I'll tell you why. So I have put over $12,000 of my own money into DBW since starting.
Okay.
$12,000. Okay.
That's your company.
It certainly is. It certainly is.
100%.
Okay. So the place that we perform costs money. The U-Haul to transfer the title or transfer the ring to the place costs money. Okay. The constant upgrades cost money. The enhancements that we make cost money. Okay. And you guys haven't seen anything yet. But those things, these are not things that anyone has to pay. Okay? This is a voluntary thing, and every single penny goes back into this company.
Okay.
It's paying dues towards the company to help better the company, which everybody on my roster understands this, and I'm very, very open with it up front.
So let's go into it as when someone comes in, do you tell them they have the option to pay $10 to help the company, right?
10 or 20 bucks, whatever you can do.
10 or 20 bucks.
Whatever you can do.
I'm gonna say this. Let's go into terms. So I'm hoping this guy is still watching. Ronnie Brady and Joseph Tibbs, the owners of Resurrection Wrestling. All right. Has not once asked anybody or even gave the assumption that they have the choice to put money into this company to better this company. For the simple fact that this is their company.
Mm-hmm.
As an owner, it is your obligation to do what you want with the company.
Exactly.
Now, it'd be different if someone to walk up and be like, "Hey, is there something that I can help with? Is there something that I have some extra money. Let me help you with this and this and this." But for an owner to look at its talent when they first walk in the door and tell them, "Hey, so we have this thing where if you want to, you can pay $10 to $20 a month to help us get better things." That should never be talked about. I've never walked in a company ever in my life, and trust me, I've walked through some fucking companies that have done some dumbass shit and never once heard that. The simple fact is not the talent's job. The talent's job is to create product. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the fact I've watched some of your stuff.
I hope so.
The one thing I've noticed, and this is spitting facts. Have you noticed there's never been an African American person on your platform that has won?
That is complete and utter bullshit. And here's why I can say that. Azrael, Anarchy Champion, African American. Navon McDonald, Global Champion, African American. The Stompers, African Americans.
So you're just now. So you're just ever since it came out. Now it's out, right? Now that it's out, now you're gonna do it.
It's been out.
We also want to talk about how you call someone racist because they want to leave your company.
No, not because they want to leave.
Because why?
Okay, so wait a second. Are you having T3 buzz in your ear?
Who the fuck's T3?
Yeah, okay.
I can show you my messages. I don't know who the fuck that is.
Yeah, because I don't know where in the hell that's coming from. Because to say
I got sources, dude.
People because they're African American. Are you kidding me? I've had multiple African American champions.
I mean, we can go through some more things about what's happened.
And as
I mean,
far as
I really think it's funny.
Since you want to speak up on the dues, since it's like back BBW now. So the dues, yes, I run the company and actually don't solo run the company anymore, but I run the company. But this is every single member of my roster's company. Every single member.
Do they own a share of the company?
They get a say in character.
Do they own a share of the company?
What do you mean a share in the company? They benefit from the product of the company by getting the upgrades.
Do they own a share of the company? I'm not interested in what some of the things Anthony said, but I'm curious if you could clarify. Do they own a share of the company in any way? For example, the Green Bay Packers, their fans own the team.
Right.
Do the wrestlers in DBW, do they own a portion of your company alongside you?
No, they do not.
So then they don't have a say necessarily fully from a financial standpoint.
From a financial standpoint, no. But they see.
But they don't have a say financial.
What goes into the company because it's very apparent.
If they don't have a financial standpoint, if they don't have a financial standpoint in this company, why the fuck are they putting money into this company?
Because they choose to.
Because you asked them.
Hello.
They choose to.
So I'll explain this a little more thoroughly. Ring dues, for the building to pay off because the building costs money to rent every time you do a show. It's something we did in BEWA. Once again, something Rolling Havoc and some of these guys were part of. You put $10, $20 in, everybody chips in so they can rent the building. That's what the ring dues are for. And if there's anything after that, put more
They
supplies.
must do it a lot different up there than what they fucking do in any other place I've been.
I can explain this to Anthony because I've done it. We did it in BEWA for 10 years.
Yeah, this isn't a new concept.
It's just everybody contributes so we can put the show on indoors versus outside.
Correct.
That's what we did.
Do you pay your wrestlers?
I'm going to say this here. Like, I get the dues for the ring dues because I've done it before. But my question is, when they do the show, do they get any of the profit back off of what they put in?
What do you mean getting? We don't.
Do you pay them? Do you pay them?
I don't pay my wrestlers. No.
That's
every single penny goes back into the company, whether it's to buy posters, lights, microphones, sound systems, announce tables, ring canvases, custom skirts, all of that. The venue itself.
Are you an indie company?
Absolutely. We are progressing towards that level.
Okay.
Are you an independent company currently, though?
Are you an independent company now, or are you a backyard company?
Next year, we will be certified by the state as an official independent company.
Will you pay your talent then?
Yes, because then we'll be able to charge admission. That's the only reason why we don't pay the talent is because we can't charge admission.
Okay, so here's my question on this, because I do get the dues and everything else like that. But your first thought when you were going to do the ring dues and the venues to be able to charge, you should have went after what you needed to with on the business aspect of getting everything that you need to be able to run the business, to make your money off your shows instead of sitting back, relying on your wrestlers to pay everything up front to do your venues.
But that is the goal, to get to that level, to charge admission, to then say, hey guys, here you go. Here's your payday. Here's your payday. Here's your payday.
So Mac 10, everybody, this is basically a prime example. And it's not something that I've always agreed with, but I understood it. This is what happens a lot of times, and maybe not everywhere in the world, but this is what happens a lot of times when a backyard fed starts out as a backyard fed and makes the transitional steps and then wants to be here to make sure that you can promote, so you can get tickets sold and merchandise sales, and people can get payoffs and stuff like that. It's the transition step phase from backyard to barn fed to underground to indie. It's a step process that a lot of
CCW made the jump in the UK. CCW was starting out kind of like DBW, and they're now an indie company. It was a lot quicker of a transition for them. It's a different hula hoops. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to talk about laws.
It depends on the state, the athletic commission, and the money.
That's right. I got that. That I have an understanding.
I get that. Trust me, I do, because I've helped literally 3 or 4 backyard companies go from the backyard to the indie aspect.
I don't see the benefit in that. I no offense. Realistically, if I was one of your wrestlers, I would most definitely never put a dime of my money into something that I'm not going to get back.
Well, Anthony, let me say this, because coming from, I don't know how old everybody is. I don't know how dated everyone is in this room. But I will say this, judging from my point of view, when we started doing this back in my day, when I first started at 13 years old, you couldn't have a ring in your yard. You couldn't do that. That wasn't a thing. It wasn't an option unless you built one. You couldn't just go anywhere in Maryland and do whatever you wanted in a building without paying something. You had to pay for the building. It wasn't cheap. So when the idea or the possibility started coming around to rent these buildings and people that own these buildings to allow people to come in and do shows in their buildings without proper licensing or papers or so on and so forth, you pay for it. You had the choice to continue to wrestle on the ground or wrestle wherever or trampoline. Basically, they're paying for the ring. They're paying for the indoor ring ability to basically have the look and the feel.
That should be the owner's job. I'm sorry, but like that,
we're not at that level yet, and it's not a flip that you can switch and just be there.
I just want to cut off.
I want to
cut everybody up on a couple things here. I want to bring up on Corey Graves' part. I don't think that anybody is turning this into a fight about dues. I think that ultimately, look, I think people would love to collaborate. I don't know. I couldn't speak on behalf of any promotion. I can't speak on behalf of any one individual wrestler. I think it's a little bit unjust to say that, people are upset about this is turning into dues and why people won't collaborate. Look, here's the bottom line. I'm gonna kick the ballistics for a second. If people want to work with each other, they'll work with each other. If you don't, you don't. At the end of the day, this is basically cut and dry. So you can do whatever you want. You want to give dues. You want to put whoever is your champion. I really, at this point, you can do whatever you want. At the end of the day, if people want to work with one another, great. If not, I appreciate that the opportunity was put here. You spoke. You talked a little bit about what you had to do. I think at the end of the day, it's really, I couldn't speak on behalf of anybody. I really don't think that this is going to really go anywhere in terms of changing people's minds. It doesn't seem like it to me. Obviously, look, you want to charge people dues. That's up to you. You're your business. It's your thing. If wrestlers want to charge dues in their companies, if they want to do it or not do it, it's their call. Here's what the end of the day is. If people want to work with one another, this is what my platform's for. People want to go out there and say that they don't want to work with each other. There's people are hurt because, 8 months ago something happened and there was really no attempt. The only thing I can say is this. I don't want to spend another hour on this. The only thing what I want to say is like the proof will be in the pudding. If 4 months from now, all of a sudden something comes out, you know what? DBW guys collaborated with DKW, or DBW guys collaborated with NEW, or DBW worked with ROEW, or DBW worked with whatever company. You just fill in the blanks, and something came out of it. God bless. But at the end of the day, from what I see, people's opinions are not going to change. You can do what you want. Other companies can do what they want. Summer Bash is from July 5th to July 7th. It's in Bremen, Ohio. If you'd like to show up, you can talk to Dark Cryptic Wrestling, IMF Wrestling 666 on YouTube, Iowa Midwest Federation Wrestling. As a matter of fact, if you are out there, actually, I'm going to say something because I know a lot of DBW. In fact, I see more DBW guys here tonight when sometimes DBW talent is on Sportswire. To tell you the truth, I see more DBW Russell. Obviously, you did a good job of pulling out your people to come out. So I give you a lot of credit for that because you got your people out to come out and hear you speak, which again, I would have did the same thing. But I will say this much. July 5th to July 7th, I'm sure Darkron has got an open door. He lives right by a cattle farm. If you want to show up, you're in the area, you're all than welcome to come. So if you want to bring, you want to come on, you're more than welcome to. I'm sure that people will want it. And, it's from July 5th to July 7th. And I'm sure people, they would love to see people wrestle, and I'm sure that would be for the best interest. But if not, listen, I don't know much. Do you want to say something, Coach? I can see you want to say something. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, or people can shoot me a message because I'm apparently producing the show. Anywho, everybody does their recipe a little different, and on how they do things, it's neither here or there. You mentioned the 8 months ago thing. I extended the invitation because it was something that I and Omen and Soldier and some other guys talked about. And I said, you know what? I know a couple guys over here that might benefit from that. The exposure, the ability, maybe even appreciate the like you say, the collaboration, Tom. And ultimately, the invitation when I came up to the DBW show was exactly for that. Because I watched 4 hours of your show. I didn't stay the whole 7 hours, however long you guys were there, but I watched 4 hours of the show. And in that 4 hours, I watched a lot of young guys, not you, I'm not talking about ego. I'm not talking about people I've already seen wrestle, such as Azrael, people from Biwa. I'm talking about a lot of the younger guys that came out and they had the crowd lit as a motherfucker. These guys put on epic performances. They gave their all in the ring and they delivered. And the first thought in my head while sitting in that chair watching just getting through match 2 was these guys deserve exposure. They deserve unbelievable exposure. And what better way to do that than to try to involve the roster, yourself, or whoever, in something that is going to be kind of like an Olympics of wrestling, where you've got multiple different states coming in to do this one grand finale show. And I know that things turned heated between IMF and Ego, and a bunch of shit and drama because people couldn't read people's gimmicks the right way or whatever the fuck the problem was.
I don't know anything about it.
And I've said this a million times. And Tom's heard me say this. Steele's heard me say this. Roland Havoc. I don't know how the man feels about me, but Roland Havoc is one of, according to apparently my opinion of him, he's one of my dearest friends, and he's somebody that I respect more than any person on any roster. This is a man that went from a sheep in the locker room being pushed down and pushed down and pushed down to rising above and being above all. And he deserves to have his flowers. He deserves to be, I dare to say this man belongs on television.
I agree.
He's that good of a human being, and he's that good of a talent. Along with AJ, or Austin James, whatever. He's phenomenal. He's a small little guy, but the fucker's got a heart of a giant, and he can go.
Yep.
And there's so many other parts of your roster that I think, like you said, Tom, collaborating, get him out there.
We talked about the tag.
I know that. Forget the title. Forget who the champions are. No, yes, I'm a big believer in the owner should never be the world champion. That's not what that's about. Forget that for a minute. Everybody, you can ask Havoc this judgment if you want to. I've always been the same on this. If you believe in wrestling, you love wrestling, you should be a part of it in some capacity. That's 100%. Always been my mentality about wrestling. If you love this, there's no reason why you can't be a part of it. If you can't perform, maybe you're a ref. If you're not a ref, maybe you're a commentator, Tom. We could get Tom on commentating. There's always some place for somebody to enjoy it in a way that makes them happy. That's one thing that why we're all here, because it, like you said, it all matters. Everybody loves this. The invitation was put out 8 months ago, not to cause chaos. And one of the things that makes me pissed off about it is because it did cause chaos. And, I get a phone call from Damien Fatale bitching me out about what I said about this. And I was pissed because the invitation wasn't there to cause or breed chaos. The invitation was there because I saw one of your shows, one, not even the whole one. And I saw probably 24 guys pour their hearts out in the ring with every maneuver. And I said, these fuckers belong to everyone now. They need to be seen by everyone.
I agree 100% on that. I don't agree.
I don't agree with the fact that TBW copies a lot of its copy-paste gimmicks, but their guys perform, and they go out there and they get results. So let them be seen. IMF, they started in their yard. Now they're in venues. They should be seen. DKW is only a couple guys, but they want to learn. They want to evolve. I hope the guy, he can, after he's done fighting cancer, he can get back in that fucking ring and he can throw down. Those guys should be seen.
ROEW, XCW's here. Give them credit. Resurrections. A lot of companies are a part of this event, and I think DBW fits in like a glove. And I think that's really, to me, again, I think Soldier said it best. That's what people are looking for. There's a lot of guys that come on here. Listen, that just they love wrestling. That's all. Listen, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Nobody's getting. Listen. Who cares if you pay dues? I don't really give. You can do whatever you want. What I'm here for is I just want to see people be friends. I just want to see people come together. Go ahead, the floor is yours. You got it.
So here's what I want to say. I don't agree with the fact that it was brought up how my business is run, especially by someone who doesn't run a business. I don't agree with that at all. I think it's
about running a business.
Not you. I know you run this, and you do a very good job.
I appreciate that.
I don't agree with that at all. I think that was very childish and very misplaced. Second, yes, the Summer Bash show I think is incredible for backyard underground wrestling. I think anytime you do a collaborative show, it's incredible. If you can get multiple feds together at one place at one time, that is a great thing for everybody. There's nothing really bad that can come of that. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're trying. Listen, I mean,
Yeah.
the way I compare it, it's like Ozfest, Lollapalooza, right? You know, you have all these. You're a musician. You play the bass.
Yes.
You know the deal. So
Yes.
to me, that's what it is, and it's just giving people a chance to like learn and make friendship. You know, one wrestler told me is that all this stuff you see on social media, all this weather nonsense, when everybody gets into a room, right, it all goes away because either you're going to be friends or not. So that's like to me. That's all I'm here for. You know, I got guys like Big Man Cam. It works in XCW. I don't care. I like him here. There's a lot of guys. Justin Parsley. I just want to see people collaborate and come together. That's all I'm about. I can't speak on behalf of anybody else but me.
Right.
That's it.
And here's what I will say about open collaboration. I am always down for open collaboration. It didn't work out this time, but I am always down for it. If we can make it work for everyone's schedule and for all of that, 100% down for it, because it's going to do nothing but better the community.
And it also helps everybody, puts more subs out.
Yes.
It's people. That's what I'm about. See, I want everybody to have the 10,000 subs. You know, I want everybody to win. To me, because there's a line when somebody wins, we all together we will win. So the way I see it,
I agree.
Is that's all I see. I see people from different places here on a stream. And I think also that's, to me, angst from people here because there was not always 100% you, but there were DBW guys here, and guys did want to comment and be on the stream with them. And sometimes I'm going to be honest, because I take the temperature. DBW guys sometimes weren't like Omen and Soldier. They didn't want them on. It was like they were like, and I think a lot of times, like Anthony's here, James Taylor, who's not here. Hello to James Taylor. Guys that like always come on. You know, they want to like hang out. And I think sometimes it's almost, like, no, you're here. It's great. It's cool.
Yeah, myself, I'm always open. I've actually messaged you privately and said, hey,
no, we're good
get me
now.
on the panel.
I got you now. Listen, I got you. You want to come on. But, I think there was kind of this, like, I don't know what it was, but, like, I do see, like, the other feds, like, and I just see, like, everybody's like, yeah, I'll hang out. Yeah, I'll come on the stream. And I think that, like, to me, like, that's what this should all be about. This is not, like I said, this is not WWE. I'm not employed, but I just want to, like, bring people together, have more fun, and that's it. Nobody's rich. I do, that's the way I look at it. So you could do whatever you want. I mean, look, I consider you a friend. I consider a lot of these guys friends in DBW. And we're having Corey Graves on in 2 weeks from now. We have, Chase Wakefield's here. I like bringing people on from the company. I don't want to not shun. There was never a thing that said, oh, DBW can't be here. I think that ultimately, to me, I just want to see DBW collaborate with these feds, because I look at it like they should be here, and I think
and I will say this,
let's make that happen.
On the collaborative effort, I will say this: we're down.
Okay,
if we can make it work in the future for all parties involved, then let's talk.
That's up to you and those companies for sure. And that's obvious. I never get in the middle of that.
Can I ask you a question, Judgment?
Sure thing.
I don't know what your schedule is for July. I don't know what anybody else's show schedule, recording schedule, or anything is for your shows. But if none of your guys are busy on that weekend, would you have an issue with any of them coming to Summer Bash or contacting Omen or anyone to get a part of that? Because I'm just asking because, like I said, originally the olive branch was extended out, and hell, I'm even the one that said, Tom, what was it? One of the first shows I was on, Tom, you got to check these boys out. You got to check out Havoc.
I got to be honest. If it wasn't for Coach, I wouldn't have got to know Roland Havoc. I wouldn't have got a chance to speak with you. And I consider a lot of the guys in DBW friends. Van Hansen was here. Big Tech speaks to me all the time and tells me what I said on Sportswire. Costelli, I've shared his vlogs on YouTube. I mean, I connected him with CCW. There's a lot of guys. Jackson Snow messages me regularly. There's a lot of guys. I speak to a lot of guys in a lot of locker rooms. I don't go into business of telling people what they should do. I just want to see, at the end of the day, whatever was said, it's, to me, if it's water under the bridge, God bless it. Omen Black wants to say something before, we move on with the show. And Omen, it's your show, and I'm going to give you the floor.
I've been watching this whole night, and I've seen a lot of guys in the comments, though, from DBW that want to be invited to Summer Bash. So if they want to show up to Summer Bash, that's fine with us. We can make different changes to the card itself, but we can't make all changes for every match. You know what I mean? So collaboration, totally welcome it. They want to come down to Ohio on July 5th to the 7th from DBW. That's totally fine with us.
Well, there you go. I am 100% down with it. I work retail, and it sucks because it's a holiday. They consider it a holiday weekend, so I'm trapped.
I'm a newspaper carrier. Is one of my jobs. I sympathize with you 100%. You know, it's when COVID happened, I was like one of the one people that was like, "You're going out. You have to go out." So I do sympathize.
I've been in retail for 22 years, and it's the worst fucking thing. The holiday
as
weekend.
Somebody who works in politics part time, there's like no days off anytime. So that might be the reason I might not make it to Summer Bash. So I understand. Trust me. I sympathize. I really.
But again, I just want to reiterate, for open collaboration in the future, DBW is open for it. I can be talked to. Tom Ostrander can be talked to. Either one of us, we are open. We're not going to shy away from either our guys getting opportunity or giving anyone else opportunity. We have a large following, and we're growing. We're hoping to hit 1 million views here in 2 months.
Yeah, I saw you had like 960,000. I mean, it's no question the viewership, is you have, listen, even the recent shows, you guys generate like 420 views was the last show. I mean, the last big show you just had was, I think, like 1,000 views in a pocket. So there's no question that people tune into you guys. There's definitely
I'll break this news here. We just upgraded, again, talking about dues and everything. We just upgraded our ring. We just got a pro ring. So we're off the low boy ring. We're off the low boy ring. We have a pro ring, a former WWE ring. And there's just so much great stuff happening in DBW. And
question, is it a 20 by 20 ring?
It's an 18 by 18.
It's not a WWE ring, sorry.
It was a WWE house show ring. The guy that gifted it to us was a part of the setup crew for WWE back in the day, back in the early 2010 era. And it's an 18 by 18 house show ring. It's not like a pay-per-view or a Raw or SmackDown ring. And we also have a WWE announce table, a breakaway announce table that we were also able to acquire.
Mac 10. He's correct, Mac. The house show rings are smaller than the live.
The training rings and stuff for us, they're 18s.
Because the SmackDown and Raw rings always stay on the road.
Yep, but we were wrestling in a 16 by 16 low boy, and now 18 by 18. Really beautiful ring.
I wasn't saying he wasn't correct. I was just asking a question on that.
Yeah.
I want to say this because it's like, I guess I could have addressed this at any time sooner, but I'm going to say it now. In the last 8 months since whatever in the past, back in the fall, started whatever this drama was or wherever it is, where everybody wants having animosity. I don't know what your opinion of me is, Mr. Phillips. I don't know what BWA guys tell you about me. But I am somebody that I have a passion and love for wrestling, no matter what part of it is. It could be backstage. It could be the guy that sets up the fucking camera that gets a perfect shot. I don't care. I come on here shooting. I'm an asshole sometimes, and I'm a prick, and I'm a dickhead, and I make people cry and get pissed at me all the time when I'm playing a character. But to be truthful about wrestling in general, it's like, and this to anyone's listening, any roster or anybody that's on the comments, one main thing that anybody should be wanting to do while you're involved with this, if you love this the way you need to love it or where you're supposed to love it, is to always want the element of it to be better. No matter if it's what you're doing, your roster, someone else's roster, you always want it to grow, because the whole concept of the All Wrestling Matters scenario, or the whole Wrestling Matters, title, that's fine and dandy and everything, and that's great. But there's a lot of people that come on Tom's show from all different states and countries. There's other people that go online and do their own stuff. And there's a lot of love for wrestling worldwide. And we're just a small piece of that puzzle. But I love the fact that so many people put so much passion and love into trying to make that small piece bigger every time they can get a chance to do so.
Yep.
And I say this to anybody: if you're doing this and you love doing this, do it, perfect it, give it back. Give back to it. You know, like I've said before, give and take. And everybody try to push someone else. Like we get on here and we do promos on each other, and we're assholes to each other when we're playing gimmicks. But truth be told, when we're backstage in that locker room, you know, I heard you all say something about it's a family effort in the locker room at DBW. Well, it should be a family effort, period, across multiple federations and organizations.
And that's, I think, what we see here on this platform with a lot of companies, that they hear the comments every show. And I think that's, to me, like, it's taken really a life of its own. You know, I've done a lot of stuff, Coaches Right, in other countries, in the UK, and it's great. I love everybody there that tuned in from time to time, but it hasn't taken the life of its own that what we have in the backyard and the underground. I think because we really are the same at the end of the day. We're all like doing it for the same reasons. I think, to me, that's what should be taken away from this, regardless of whatever happens. I think at the end of the day, we all
love the same thing.
We're all the same thing. Yeah.
Chris, I can definitely appreciate a lot of what you said there. With doing this for a long time, the one thing I can appreciate, whether we agree, whether we disagree, that those things will always be there. But my God, we love this strange hobby of wrestling. You know, whenever I tell people about, you know, like at work or whatever it is about this, you know, I do professional wrestling. They're like, what? You know, it's such a strange concept to them. And it's such an original hobby that we have. And it's, you know, the passion.
I think we all feel like the outcast when we say to somebody.
Listen, yesterday I'm in a brand new important person in $100,000 car. I kid you not. And he was talking to me because one of my jobs is a notary public, and we're going around, you know, doing these different things. And he says, "Well, what do you do?" And I said, "Well, I have this show, and basically I interview backyard and underground wrestlers." And he looked at me. I'm in this, you know, fancy, again, people would be like, wow. But to me, it didn't matter. What mattered to me was to talk about who comes on this platform, like Mac 10, Anthony Steele, Coach Chris Craven, Omen Black, Soldier GP, Atomic Titan, James Taylor, Mr. Judgment's here. Let's throw him in there. Big Tex was here. Van Hansen. I mean, there's so many people that come here. Craven Rage. Yes, I'm going to say it. Craven Rage. Sean Dovey. You know, all these people, even Silver Wolf. You know, it doesn't matter. They all become a part of the team. No, I got that. But the part of it is that this is what matters to me. I could have spent all day in this car driving around, making God knows how much money if I wanted to. But to me, it didn't matter. What mattered is to be here on Sportswire, to be here with you and the people. That's, to me, what it's about. And I think as wrestlers and fans, whatever people do in this, whether you're wrestlers, whatever it might be, that's what I'm trying to take away from it. You've obviously done a lot. You have done a lot. Your moveset, I say it all the time, is like a video game. You have done so much. You've built a lot of these young guys. Keep it up. You know, Mac is the deathmatch werewolf. I'm going to see Brian White on Friday. You're going to probably be upset. And you're going to say, send a link. Coach is temperature. Anthony Steele is real. And Omen Black, it's his show. And he's a hardcore guy and a Boogie made the miss. Everybody's got something. And that's what we are our family. And what I want to see is a bigger family. I want to see more people in that so we can have a bigger piece of the pie and everybody to win. That's it. That's all I want to say.
The one thing that I do want to say,
and I want to move on to get to some people,
is, do I talk shit about your wrestling ability? Fuck no. You're good. You're great. I give props where props is due. Am I going to shit on your character? No. People going to do a character. People going to do their real life and make it into a character. What you do is what you do. One thing I will say, I did it with fuck is his name? ACT or whatever the fuck his name is from AWL.
Oh, ADT. ACT, you shared a lot with XCW. Don't get them.
Oh yeah.
Definitely don't get them.
When people try to take a shot at, you know, people's gimmicks, the way they dress, because I'll be the first one to tell you, I don't dress like a professional wrestler. I dress in joggers and Jordans. You see me right now is how I dress in the ring. If you've not seen my matches, I wear joggers and Jordans every fucking time I wrestle. You'll not see me outside of that. So some fact, that's who I am. My character, it's not made up. It's me. That's who the fuck I am. Because the greatest thing I've ever heard, no one could be you like you could be you. That's why when Ronnie Brady made the magical phrase, "Can't nobody love Anthony Steele like Anthony Steele loves Anthony Steele," no one can be me like I can be me. And that's the one thing I share with a lot of people.
Antonio
No one. Who?
Antonio.
My number one thing is, it's the same reason why your boys are here. The same reason why your boys are here. They're here to back you up, right? Those are your boys. They're going to be by your side. These are mine. Home and Black, on screen, hate each other. Real life.
You lost to him in a match last year, so yeah.
Real life, one of the coolest guys I know. Chris Craven, about to have a banger of a fucking match opening night of Summer Bash. Me and him go at it.
Monday night, you guys definitely went out.
Outside, let's break the fourth wall. We talked about fucking Deadpool that's about to come out July 26th. Literally talked about Loki on what to like expect. Mac 10. I've never been with him in the ring because he doesn't know how to work a professional match.
Well, Xavier Thorne's gonna find that out, Anthony.
But he's in the next room.
But literally, and literally behind this fucking tapestry is Mac 10. Look, I can be real with it. Shut the fuck up. Like, I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to working with any company. Do I have my opinions? Everyone has their opinions. Everyone's obligated to their opinions.
It's like assholes.
Everyone has one. Do I think, me personally, do I think an owner should hold a world title? No. You have a roster to hold it for you. Your roster should determine how successful or unsuccessful your show is. I can't say for the simple fact that I've ran a show, never made myself world champion. But that's out of my belief. If your belief is you're waiting for the right person to build up to run your company the way that you're like your character's running the world title, fine by me. Do what you got to do. Now, I know a lot of people look at me a little different because I'm new to the indie scene. Been on it for about a year and a half. I've went to now going like 4 promotions in the Memphis area or in the Tennessee, Mississippi area.
Give or take.
That's fine. There's going to be more. There's been more opportunities asked of me. I've got offers up in Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma. Shout out to JR Wynn.
Oh, good old JR. I know good old JR.
Literally, shout out to him. I haven't seen him on the platform in a while.
Well, he's messaged me on Facebook. So thank you. You can thank me for that one, Anthony, later.
I'm open to working with anybody, but I'm also open and honest with people of what my opinions are. If you're going to do at the end of the day, I don't run your show. I'll say this, I'm not going to pay anything to come work for your show. And I'm not saying you have asked that of any person. I'm saying me personally, I would never pay to work a show. In my eyes, if I'm going to work a show, I'm there to work and or get paid for my work. I'll say this. I'm not gonna say the name, but I'm hiring someone I'm paying out of my pocket, hiring someone to work a match for the simple fact that I love to do it, and I'm paying half his travel costs, and I'm paying his housing to work. As me, that's my booker duties to get this. I've literally stated live on Sportzwire Radio. I've gotten in contact with Matt Cardona. I'm literally, if I was told straight the fuck up, if I want to work Matt Cardona, I pay his PO. I'm looking to pay a pretty ass fucking penny to work Matt Cardona. Because as Chris said, and you even acknowledged, we love this business. I love this business to the fucking bottom of my fucking heart. There can be dudes out here with KCW who can fucking hate my guts. Literally can say that I'm the worst fucking wrestler imaginable. I'm the worst person in the fucking world. Dude, I will say this right the fuck now. In character, you can get heat, but I get heat IRL like no one's ever fucking seen before. And the biggest reason why is that name underneath mine, The Real Deal. I keep it real 100 fucking % of the time, no matter if I'm in character or if out of character. I live my moniker. That's my statement in wrestling.
Well, you know what? I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think at the end of the day, people can say what they want tonight. I say hello before we get to closing thoughts. I will say hello to the Brooklyn Prodigies, but I can tell you that I don't think anybody at all bashed All Wrestling Matters. I think that people have their opinions, and everybody's entitled to it. I can tell you on this platform, I made it pretty clear what this platform's about. I can't speak on behalf of wrestlers or any wrestling companies. You'd have to ask them those questions, whether it's private or personally. But I can tell you anybody, and I think there's no platform, there's no place that has continuously given people the opportunities to be here. And I also say it unabashedly, proudly, how I always bring on backyard underground wrestlers when there are guys in the indies that kind of look down upon us in the backyard in the underground. So I certainly think that anybody is welcome here on this platform. I can't speak on behalf of anybody else. And I thank everybody for tuning in. I think clearly, some people, well, we're going to get to comments for sure. I'm going to read off the comments, but the points is that, I think that obviously people have their opinions, wrestlers and such. Will it change people's and companies' perceptions? I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, look, people can talk on the mic. 80% can, however, their in-ring skills suck. So those guys, I think that's, Scorpion, that's why guys like me aren't in the ring. I mean, and obviously, 35 people here because people, they want to hear this stuff. It was an honest discussion, just like if anybody watches, Real Time with Bill Maher. Not everybody agrees. If you go watch, the Red Eye show with Greg Gutfeld, you watch Greta, you watch any show out there, Hannity, in politics, people agree. Sometimes people disagree. I think what we did was we gave people the opportunity to speak on what they felt was on their mind. I think it was a fair discussion. I think people were given the opportunity to speak. Will it change people's minds and change people working together? I can read your comments, but you gave me like 100 of them, Brandon, and it's like 12:45 in the morning. And honestly, most of them really weren't pertaining to this conversation. But, you can come on the platform anytime and, you can have the say and say whatever you like, on the floor here. But, look, obviously people love Cardona. Thank you for my hardcore king, Atomic Titan. And, look, I hope DKW works with DBW. I hope ALW, my buddy Big Man Cam in beautiful Marion, Ohio, works with you guys. He's a TikTok influencer. He's massive on TikTok. He had 35,000 views on his last clip. He's an ROEW, XCW. That's a guy right there, Big Man Cam, right? He works with places like XCW, CBW, ROEW, right? Those companies may not be buddies, but he works with them because you know what? At the end of the day, guys just want to have a good time. Guys just want to go out there and wrestle. That's an example of All Wrestling Matters right there. Big Man Cam. He works for 3 places that they're probably not going to have Christmas dinner or exchange Christmas cards together, but he's working with them because that's what good people do. Angelo LaFlame from this platform, AWL, Resurrection, TBW, NEW, Sean Jovi, IMF, EKW, WCE. I mean, there's a lot of guys you can throw out there as examples. Jack Delta, James Taylor and Jack Delta working in the same company. Those guys were in TBW last year. They weren't best buddies, but that's what the community does. You bring people together. And I think DBW, if they would like to work with these companies and these companies can figure it out, that's the point. And I think that, Jack Delta, I know for certain I'm 90% of the people I associate, but I take the time to improve. Yeah, and that's what people want to do. They want to go out there, and improve. And let's go back to the 90s. The Wrestling Network, which Dad Radley Belmont was a part of, who endorses the movement, or Copper Dragon, the backyard wrestling version of Dave Meltzer, who's gone out there and said basically like, look, this is good. This is good. It's positive dialogue. It's positive collaboration. Justin Parsley and Brandon Castelli. These guys work in 2 different feds. They're friends. I mean, to me, there's no like, oh, you work in DBW or you work in XCW or ROEW, AWL. To me, they're all barriers, and they should all be broken down. And, I think that that's, what it comes down to. But, obviously people want to get going. Let's go in and, definitely hello to the Prodigies. Hello to everybody else. So let me get to closing thoughts here. Omen, I want to go with you. It's your show. I'm going to go around the room and get to closing thoughts. So, Omen, you're going first.
Well, I guess my closing thought is, stay tuned for Summer Heat, 22nd of June, and stay tuned for Summer Bash. And again, DBW, anyone is welcome to a Summer Bash. We're not excluding anyone. You want to be part of it, be part of history, doors open. Or I guess the backyard gate is open.
Yeah, I guess you could say it's the gate, so some people don't have gates anymore. But thank you for that, Omen. And I don't want to do a 24-hour stream because I barely have a voice at this point, and I'm on the air for like 4 hours straight with Judge Dredd and Brian White. So if you're a hardcore wrestling fan, I do need to save my voice. So it's not a matter of anybody telling me to wrap the show up. I actually, if you've seen my day, my schedule, it's basically like Vince McMahon's. Also, let me get to this. All I'm going to say is I don't sleep on what DBW is producing here. In about 2 years, I've been working for Judgment. I have zero complaints. And I think that's the point. I don't think people was complaining about DBW product. I think there was obviously an issue with philosophical things. And we'll see if they get sorted out. And, hopefully that all sorts itself out. Coach, I want to give you the floor. Anything else you'd like to say? And the floor is yours.
Yes, kids. No. Anyway, No, I don't have any more. I don't have any complaints about anything. I do know that how I feel about all these rosters, whether you collab or you don't collab with each other. I think as performers, you mentioned Cardona, you mentioned where you want to work or where you don't want to work. I think any talent that gets into this should always try to broaden themselves as much as possible because this is old school way of thinking. Nowadays, you have social media and the internet. You can put yourself anywhere. But back in the day, and Judgment, you look a little dated, like you're my age, so you may know this. Back in the day, if you wanted to be seen, you self-promoted yourself like a fucking 2-cent whore. That's basically what any wrestler did in the past. You put yourself out there.
Everyone knows that.
For chicken shit and chicken feed. And you did it until somebody caught somebody's eye. That's old school way of doing that. You don't, and I say to anybody like that's out there doing this, you want your name out there, you want to go bigger than where you're just sitting, put your name, go other places, do what these guys are doing, driving everywhere, doing whatever.
Angelo LaFlame's the biggest example of that. The dude went to Massachusetts and Tennessee.
And if you're a guy that's just comfortable where you're at and you're content there, that's fine too. Do your thing.
They also had the same connection speed because you're delayed as fuck back in the day. Your mouth is moving like 5 seconds prior, like after what you already
fine,
said.
Then I'm a 1950s Japanese kung fu film. What the fuck ever. It doesn't matter.
Everybody was kung fu fighting, right? To cool Carl Douglas. But.
Right. I will kick your ass in July, Steele. Anyway, and as far as these rosters go with all of these companies, including yours, Judgment, I always want to try to push people. Like I said, gimmick aside, I always want to try to push people. You have a lot of guys. IMF has a lot of guys. TBW, there's a lot of guys in a lot of these rosters that, whether they're great, they're good, they're fair, they're average, or even their performances are poor. Sometimes the best way to get someone to go from a poor or fair performance to being a good or great performance is by giving that push and that encouragement. Just take a chance and see where they at. Give them a little nudge and a little confidence to see what they can do with it. Sometimes that does work. I'd like to see a lot of these roster members that aren't champions or aren't on top rise to the occasion and rise above and be greater than they are and continue to do more and more and more so that they can enjoy it more and they can get more out of wrestling. I mean, you talk about payoffs and dues and everything. Like we can make money or we can sell T-shirts or we do. I always thought that the greatest payoff of wrestling was the ability to perform in front of people and the privilege to do this, because not everyone can. The biggest payoff anybody can get out of wrestling is the ability and the privilege to entertain those fans.
All right, well, we'll obviously appreciate that, and thank you, Coach, for the good words. And I also want to say one more thing before we go to Mac. I don't think anybody said to Prodigies that DBW had to put anyone over. That's obviously up to DBW and you guys in there, so I don't know where that comes from. but obviously you'll certainly figure that out when you have your next show, Total Domination 9. Mac, the Deathmatch Werewolf, I give you the floor. Anything else you'd like to say? And the floor is yours.
I'm just gonna go back into what we were saying earlier about the presence, about talking, and can you walk into the room and be the biggest heel that there is without having to use anybody, without having to say anything. I don't know if you were paying attention to the comments or anything, Judgment. That speaks tenfold to me because I don't have to say anything when I walk in. It's just, my boys over here at Resi can even tell you when I snap into that character, it's chaos.
Kato found that out firsthand, especially Naomi.
We'll get to them later when I come back, and
you'll be back.
Try to get him to come on. I think he's a little scared now because of what he did, put that glass on my eyeball and everything.
Wow. Scared that he beat you?
No, he's scared.
I hope to see you when Masada comes on here. That's what I'm really looking forward to when Masada comes here. I don't want to spoil it too much, but I'm sure.
I might show up when Masada shows up.
I think Masada is one that a lot of people want to see. But thank you, Mac, for being our landlord, and we look forward to some of that. And Mr. Judgment, I'm giving you the floor next. I want to let Anthony close, and then we'll say sayonara. But I give you the floor. Obviously, good to see you. I'm sure we'll see you here very soon on the platform. Looking forward to watching Total Domination 9. And I know you got a big match, a whole bunch of guys, and some of them are here in the chat. We wish them well, and they'll certainly try their best to usurp that championship from you. But obviously, you've got a foothold on that. And I turn it over to you, and the floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, so, Tom, appreciate you having me on. And I also appreciate the passion from everybody tremendously. It was good to be able to talk to everybody on here. And, like I said before, the collaboration efforts are always there, pending timing and schedules and dates and all that stuff. I'm actually getting all of DBW's 2025 filming dates set in September of this year. Just to try to be over prepared. But a lot of great things happening for DBW. I mean, a lot. I'm excited for what everybody's going to see. I'm excited for the product, excited for the roster. We have some guys that have just busted their absolute ass and are going to get rewarded for it. And I'm so excited for everyone to see it. It's so rewarding for me. To be able to sit back and watch this and, just kind of see the product evolve and see wrestling itself evolve, not just with DBW, but with everything.
No question.
It's something that, whenever you've invested a large amount of your life into a hobby, regardless of what it is,
sure.
You have passion for it. You care about it, whether it's directly or indirectly. And that's where I'm at now. I love to see wrestling all over the place like it used to be back in the day. I like to think that it's coming back.
The territory reboot.
I love it. And that's exactly the direction that we should be going. Again, the collaboration efforts are there. We'll reach out. Feel free to reach out. Anybody in the chat, reach out. But I'm looking forward to the future, big time, and looking forward to many great things with DBW, VTW, Amplified, Enterprise, all of those, plus, I think Summer Bash.
You got UWF, EBW.
Yep. Summer Bash is going to be great for the community.
Sure, absolutely. Listen, at the end of the day, I think Scorpion, the power of working together is there. And, we'll see what happens. Only time will tell, right? Nobody can tell the future. You only can do is take things one step at a time. That's what I've learned in my life. And I think these guys will probably agree about that. Anthony, I'm going to give you the floor. You got the final words. It's your show. And obviously, you're the one that will get the last word tonight. So I turn it over to you.
So my final thoughts.
What's your final thoughts, prick? Steele?
I hate said thoughts. I hate it.
Thoughts? Let's thoughts.
Shut your fucking mouth. Say it
Well,
the right
it's-
way.
Oh, all right. Okay. Side note on that. People hate that I have a northern accent, so fuck y'all.
I don't even claim you as a northerner because
Just-
you're like
just because
weird.
I live in the South, I'm from the north. I still claim my
To
northern.
be
roots.
honest with you, I think you sound like one of the parents from Charlie Brown. I can't understand a word you fucking say.
Ha, 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 ha.
Oh God.
That's probably why Mr. Judgment didn't want to face you. So
Good one. That was a good one.
So my final thoughts is this. Look, not everyone's going to see eye to eye on certain things that people do, and we have now understood that tonight. But the same thing that everyone's saying is this: if we can make this a collaborating factor between a lot of companies, it would go a lot smoother. But as someone said in the comments, it's the people that put their egos in front of business is what makes business bad. And I'm not saying anyone has done that tonight. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying that as a whole is I'm not afraid to work for any company. I'm not afraid to work with any company. And I wouldn't mind having a match with Mr. Judgment. I think it'd be the first time in a while that I faced a bbig dude, finally, because I have not faced a dude my fucking size, and I don't know fucking how long. Mac 10 don't count because he's not a wrestler.
Shut up, still.
So, side note: if y'all ever seen Mac 10 work a real match, you would understand why the fuck I say that.
Well,
Like,
I'm not going to comment on that.
This dude definitely deserves to be in deathmatch wrestling because he'd rather use a weapon than actually do a fucking actual match. But it's one of those things where, like I said, I'm open and honest. I'll tell people how I feel. I'll tell them an outside looking in. Simple as that. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'm damn sure never going to stop doing it. And I mean, if it's working for you, it's working for you. That's the best thing I can say. But when it comes to Summer Bash, I saw Summer Bash as an opportunity. I learned about it last year and been hyped ever since to actually be able to interact with people that I normally wouldn't interact with on a day-to-day basis or even on a month-to-month basis. Me versus Chris, going to be phenomenal. Me versus Omen 2, it's going to be fucking fire. Many more matches yet to come for Summer Bash for me. I've said it to anybody and everybody. Dude, I'm willing to do night matches. They got lights there. We can work a night match. I'm looking towards doing like 10 matches in 3 days. Like, that's how much I love this, to put my body through all that and then drive 10 hours back home after this. So if y'all love wrestling like y'all say y'all do, prove it. If y'all are just in it for yourselves, that's where everything starts to get a little twisted. So, yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? It was certainly we ran the gauntlet of conversations and opinions, and obviously, if you want to follow all these different companies, you can go to DBW's YouTube page at Dominant Breakout Wrestling. They have Total Domination 9 upcoming. They've also got some other big shows ahead. Also, if you want to check out more on Summer Bash, you can go to Dark Cryptic Wrestling or IMF, Iowa Midwest Federation Wrestling on YouTube, IMF Wrestling 666. Also want to plug Resurrection Pro Wrestling. They're on YouTube. Check out their most recent show, Saturday Night Riot. They also have some big shows coming up where they're going to be collaborating with some other companies here that are in the community. So stay tuned for more details on that. And also, if you'd like to support anybody else out there, you're welcome to do that here by checking us out anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And I agree with the Prodigies. The Prodigies could be tag team champions in all promotions, and anybody that is obviously killing it for Jimmy Controversy, obviously they could certainly be well on their way.
Don't even get me started on him, man.
Well, I
He's
had
not
to
coming.
Friday. He's a big topic because Brian White just wrestled him. But I do want to say hello to Mr. Gabe Sayers. He heard the Jimmy Controversy bat signal, so that means he has something to say. And I say hello to you, and I want to thank everybody that is out there. It's tuned in. Gabe, you missed a lively conversation, but I'm sure you'll check it back on the replay. But I want to thank everybody that was tuned in. Also, Summer Bash and all wrestling matters. Absolutely no question about it. And that's the spirit of collaboration. It almost reminds me of the Rush song, The Spirit of Radio. And that was about there. And Doc Holliday and Gabe Sayers are going back at it because they were in a wrestling match in GTS. Oh, by the way, not too long ago. By the way, GTS, I think I hear from a birdie, might have some participation in Summer Bash. But until then, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, all wrestling matters. And we were joined by Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest. He is the IMF Hardcore Champion, the DKW World Champion. He'll be here tomorrow night, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, as the IMF gets you ready for Summer Heat, Saturday show. Coach Chris Craven, who's always here. Maybe you'll see him coming up here on Thursday show tomorrow. Mac 10, he's the Deathmatch Werewolf. He'll probably be here. Mr. Judgment, the DBW World Heavyweight Champion. Enterprise Wrestling, although Enterprise, I think, got rid of the titles, I think, on Power Hour or something like that. You're still the world champion, though, right? Technically.
Amplified, yeah.
Amplified, still the world champion. Check him out. Rocky's Pizza, West Virginia. Beautiful West Virginia at Rocky's Pizza. Free show. It'll be next week and next Saturday, so please go out there and support that. Obviously, a lot of our friends are going to be there. Van Hansen's going to be there. I'm sure a lot of the guys in DBW, like Van Hansen, Brandon Costelli. I think you're going to see, I believe our friend Andrew Lovelace might be there, so go out there. Check that out. Go support them. Amplified Wrestling on YouTube and also Facebook as well. Kid Mike's a part of that with Enterprise Wrestling. Want to give him a nice little plug. And Anthony Steele, the real deal. And also, we've been hitting you up. Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that, Prodigies. Yeah, I know we have to get in touch. Actually, I think we did speak a couple of times, and we'll definitely speak after or off the air. But I can assure you that maybe we'll bring you on next week, because you have a show Friday in Jersey City. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll be back for sure. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio.